Hello. We shall maybe pause for a moment and wait for people to hopefully arrive. The numbers are a little bit low again. Maybe the alerts haven't gone out yet. I thought I set it all up with plenty of time. I had a good day in terms of setting it up today. I started preparing my notes a little earlier than normal. Tina girl. Started preparing my notes a little earlier than normal, get everything finished earlier than normal. Created the thumbnail, set up the stream. I was all done way ahead of schedule. I thought I would come here now and there would be loads of people waiting, but apparently I was wrong. We shall give them a minute or three to arrive. Okay. Let's do this while we wait. Let's do this while we wait. Tina girl. Tina, stop throwing dust up and say hello to the peoples. Tina girl. Say hello, hello. Hello, hello. Boom shuffle away. Okay, eat your dinner then. Tina's food. Tina's food. Go on, have your dinner. Oh, I've got to be careful. I'm outside and I am under the oh, I hit the button too soon. I'm outside, I'm under the what do they call them? They don't call them sombrilla. It's a sombrilla, isn't it? My girl's over there. My tent's over there with its new tarpaulin over the top. A bit of a loose fitting to begin with. It will be tightened up and stuff over time. Maybe rearranged. Okay, people are starting to arrive. Maybe we shall begin. Okay, folks. This is episode 74 of TrampCast. We will be covering the week ending Sunday, June the 22nd, 2025, otherwise known as today. We're covering the last week. We are on top of things still. I haven't managed to fall behind or skip an episode. We're doing well. I am Delta Mike. The channel is Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. Down and out. A homeless guy, a tramp, a hobo, a vagrant, an indigent person, a person of no fixed abode. Some might say a bum. Someone who sleeps rough, on the streets, or in my case, in a field. For anyone who's new, we'll have a quick look around at the field. It is quite dry, but not as bad as it has been in previous years. It's a bit of a mess at the moment since I emptied the old tent. I've still got some things to sort through, and basically anything I haven't sorted through now is probably just going to get thrown away. There's a little pile over there, if you can see the blue behind the sun lounger. That's the tarpaulin that I've just taken off the roof that had the big split down the centre. A few other things over there to be thrown away, and a few solar lights and things that are out charging on the bed. But this is the field for anyone that hasn't seen it in all its glory. This that looks like a path, that's a riverbed, a dry riverbed running up to the top of the field where the rainwater used to come in and flood the field. No longer does that anymore, thankfully. Okay, folks, as I say, this is TrampCast, where we look at a week in my life as a tramp, as a homeless guy, a homeless Englishman, trapped by circumstance in Spain. We look at the successes, the failures, and the other happenings in my life, such as it is. Okay, in a moment we will begin with the numbers round. It's just a little bit of a filler where we, based on the episode number, so this week we're on episode 74, so we'll have a few silly little facts about the number 74. After that, we'll have the thank yous, the people who've helped me this week. Hey, Susan, I am in the shade as much as possible, thanks to you, my darling. Thank you. Yeah, under the sombrilla. Where was I, folks? We will shortly have the thank yous, the people that have helped me during this last week. Financial donations, people that have visited in the field, people that have brought food or water, other goodies. After that, we'll have a quick run through the main themes or events of the week. It's been a fairly quiet week overall, so it won't take long. I don't think this episode will be particularly long. I got a page full of notes as usual, but overall really it was a quiet week, so I don't think there'll be much in the way of jumping off points. You know, I like to go for my tangents. Hello Andrew G. Yeah, so I don't think there'll be much in the way of tangents to be diving off into. As I said, on the whole, it's been a fairly quiet week. So, numbers, then thanks, then themes. Then we'll run through a day-by-day kind of accounting of the week. That's where I lose most of you. You get bored because it goes on a little too long sometimes. I'll try not to have it go on too long today. And then maybe we'll discuss some upcoming issues or events. I haven't really been doing that much recently because my life's quite boring, folks. There aren't really that much, there's not that much in the way of upcoming events except for one biggie that's hanging over me, which if you were here last week, you'll know about. But it's still hanging over me. But we'll get to it, Okay, folks, thumbs up if you could. Subscribe, maybe, but not until you've seen at least 3 or 4 of my videos. Don't subscribe on your first visit. Make sure you see a few of my videos, get a handle on who I am, what I'm like, whether I'm too outspoken for you. Sometimes, yes, especially lately. So yeah, wait and see, basically. Wait and see. Get to know me before you push that subscribe button. There is, I believe, a donate link in the chat. Only if you've got it, only if you want to. I'm doing all right at the moment. I think I've got enough money put together to buy Tina's wheels. Her back legs don't work, for anyone who doesn't know. Her back legs have given up. And she doesn't even pretend to walk with the back legs anymore. I am just carrying the back end, or sometimes she tries to walk but ends up just dragging the back legs behind her. I want to get her a set of wheels. Give her a little bit of mobility back for whatever time she's got left. And I think I've got enough for that. So I think we're doing all right on the money front. So no major panics there. The subscription link's there if anybody wants to. Was that Tim Timoney? Hello, Tim Timoney. We're looking okay, mate. Yeah, I'll just, for anyone who's just arriving, I'll give you a quick. I haven't selected the wheels yet. It seems really difficult to pick them out, like just on Amazon or whatever. The harnesses all seem to block the back end and be in the way. So how she would cleanly do her business, people seem to end up taking knives and scissors and whatever to the harness. And if you just spent €200 on a gizmotron for your dog to run around, it seems bizarre that you then have to start cutting bits out of it. What if it breaks and you need to send it back and they refuse it because you've clipped away at the kind of the saddle part or the harness, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, the way they hook around the legs and then block that back end, it seems like something that you're better off going into a shop to buy. And I've measured and set and fixed, and I don't know. So I'm kind of hesitating on purchasing at the minute. But I think there's enough money in the PayPal account to cover that, and for me to live for the next few weeks till we get that sorted. That's what I hope. Hey, Belinda Binney, the lady with 1,000 names. Hello. Okay, folks, I've got double-fisted drinking again. I got a coffee that I made this morning at about 7 o'clock, and it's still hot. It's in this insulated cup and inside a hot tent. Tina girl, Tina's okay. Hey, steady, you're okay. Tina's okay, Daddy's okay, we're all okay. Steady, it's okay. Hey, I know there's other people around. I know you don't like that, but that's how it is. So I got my insulated cup with hot coffee, well, warm coffee still, and I have got a can of beer because I'm quite thirsty. It's very, very hot today. I know people in the UK are saying how hot it is back there. Actually, my intention there was to drink the coffee, not the beer, but I got it wrong. I guess I'll have some coffee anyway. Okay, folks, shall we begin? This is episode 74 of TrampCast, and therefore, some facts about the number 74. The number 74 is a semi-prime. It is in fact the 26th semi-prime. Now, semi-primes are numbers which, as well as one and themselves, have one other pair of numbers, one other pair of prime numbers that will multiply together to make that number. 74 is 2 times 37. There's no other combination that will get you there. So it's a semi-prime. There are two pairs of numbers that will get you there. You can do 1 times 74, 2 times 37. So those are the entire set of divisors. 1, 2, 37, 74. It is also the 11th number of the form where the semi-primes are 2 multiplied by x, and in this case x is 37, obviously. Now, I struggled to find any more facts about the number 74 in and of itself, so I cheated and I went with 1974. In March of 1974, after a hung parliament in the UK, Ted Heath, the Conservative Prime Minister, resigned and was replaced by Harold Wilson, the Labour Prime Minister, who took office. Later the same year, in China, the Terracotta Army was discovered. Fantastic set of, what would you call them, figurines. Later the same year, here's something of note. Tina, that's enough. Shush. Later the same year, kind of two things in one here. The Volkswagen Beetle was replaced. Now, the Volkswagen Beetle at the time was the most produced car in the world, and it was replaced by the Volkswagen Golf, which also went on to become a rather well-known and famous car. Stephen King, the novelist, his first novel was released in 1974, Carrie. ABBA win the Eurovision Song Contest with Waterloo. And a bloke called Henry Heimlich, a doctor, first published his method for helping choking people, releasing people from choking hazards. The Heimlich method, the Heimlich technique, fished on the plexus and pull in sharply, and the lungs expel and push out whatever was blocking the airwaves. Airwaves. It's not on radio, is it? That was the Heimlich maneuver, first published in 1974. Now, the periodic table. 74. Tungsten. Bizarrely, you would think, with the initial W, the symbol W, which is actually from its other name, its alternate name, wolfram. Now, tungsten is known for its exceptional strength and high melting point. In fact, the highest melting point of any metal. 3,422 degrees Celsius. For those of you stateside, that would be 6,192 Fahrenheit. Incredible. very dense, on a par with gold and uranium, more or less. So strong and hard, suitable for wear-resistant use, where you need things to resist being worn away, which gives it a lot of use in industrial processes. It is very, very corrosion resistant, even against acids. This stuff just sits there and laughs in the face of most corrosives. So, uses. It's used widely in metalworking, mining and construction. Also lighting and electrodes. Its alloys are used in armaments and in heat sinks. Again, that heat resistant, carrying and conducting temperature away. Because of its high temperature uses, it gets used in turbine blades, surgical robots, and medical devices, and also in jewelry, again because of that durability. Put it in rings and they don't wear away. Also, finally, it is used in radiation shielding, and also in a lot of catalytic uses, catalysts, helping other reactions happen without directly being involved, just having its presence felt. So folks, those were some facts about the number 74, because this is episode 74 of TrampCast. I think I'll have another quick swig of beer, and then I saw there was a couple of messages just flash past. I'll have a quick read back. Beard hairs in my mouth. There was Bella arriving, I saw that. Bella likes seeing blue skies but struggles with the heat, prefers springtime. Hey, tell me about it. Spain in summer is evil. Inside that tent, I haven't actually found my thermometer, but I will guarantee you that inside that tent now, even with the doors open both sides, a through draft and my electric fan going when I'm in, it will be above 40 degrees in parts of that tent. And later, in July and August, it will hit 50. Last night, 2 o'clock in the morning, the forecast app out here in Spain said it was still, was it 27 degrees at 2 o'clock in the morning. And inside the tent will be warmer because it's like a greenhouse. So yeah. Timony says Mike lives the hard yet good life. I guess so. Yeah, good weather after a cold winter. Yeah, I mean the UK is dank and miserable for what, 8-9 months of the year, sometimes 11. So yeah, having some nice weather is good for a while, but it doesn't take much for it to feel too hot, does it? And that's where we get our reputation for always complaining. We complain when we don't get a summer, and as soon as the sun comes out, we walk around saying it's too hot. Oh, shit, Bella. Did I know that already? I think that rings a bell, but I'm not sure if you just told me about past, or oh, God. Stephen King and ABBA were both shite. But the Heimlich maneuver spot on. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of, I've never read Stephen King books, but I've never seen a good adaptation of anything of his on TV or whatever. I once sat through a whole mini-series called The Tommyknockers, and at the end of it, I had no idea what had happened, why, who. There's all these people sat on a plane, frightened about something that no one's ever heard of. I was fucking lost. I got no. There was nothing in it to give a clue as to what was happening and why. Yeah, I'm not. Carrie was okay, and What was the one with the car, the devil car that blew up and there was like the devil in the flames? I can't remember what that was called. That was kind of watchable. But yeah, I don't know. Is tungsten steel a Lancaster thing? I wouldn't have thought so. Stainless steel's a Sheffield thing. I don't know. I've not really. Lancaster hasn't really got much in the way of industry. Just reading through about Bella and her unfortunate condition. All the best, Bella. I think you've mentioned it before, but yeah, I heard it's been warm back in the UK as well. Yeah, I was aware of it. Almost on a par with here. My friend Karen went home a couple of days ago, and she's complaining she's cold still. Oh, Bella. No, Bella, don't. Oh, that was you with the plink. Oh, okay. It's not, I'm cold. Okay, Karen is there. Look, she just jumped in with I'm cold. I just said that you were. But everybody else is telling me how warm it is back in the UK. Okay, folks, let's crack on. Another quick swig. I got a couple of cans out here with me. Because it's so hot, and I've only just come outside. I've been sat inside all day. Maybe I should have come out with the parasol earlier. I should probably do that more often. I've been sitting inside or laying inside, just trying to stay low down where the cooler air would be inside the tent. But in the bedroom doesn't get the benefit of the cross draft. So I've got the fan on, or had the fan on. I've had to bring the EcoFlow out here. I've mistimed things with my phone. My phone was on like 15% when we should have been starting. So I've had to unplug the EcoFlow from the solar panel. So I'm missing out on power. But I'm charging the phone as I sit here. More messages. I'll just have a quick. Cheds, Paul, yeah? Going well, mate. Going well. Oh, get away, you bugger. Okay, folks, we've done the numbers. Next on the running order is the Thankyous. Now, last week, during one of the streams, I think it was the hangout at night. My friend Josie sent me another little contribution. I say little. She said not to thank her, but I ignore that. That ain't cheap, Josie. Thank you. But don't keep doing that. Please, please, please. That's not necessary. During the week, my friend Sven, who's currently back in Sweden, the Scandis all go home for summer. It's far, far too hot for the Scandinavians over here. Once we get to summer, us Brits can just about manage it. The Brits and the Irish can maybe just about cope. The Scandis have got no real chance. They melt in the heat. So Sven's gone back to Sweden, and they've just moved out here recently, like within the last year, and they're clearing out all their possessions. So good luck with that, Sven and Anna. And thank you very much. Again, that ain't cheap. Sven sends me something almost every month. That's incredible. That is an incredible thing, Sven. Thank you, my friend. In practical terms, Karen. Obviously, there's always a Karen, isn't there? There's always Karen in the list. My friend Karen called by, brought me some water, some food, 2 bags of food, 2 bags of water, two carry bags full of bottles of water. She cooked me some food, some jacket potatoes, like 2 days worth, and also some boiled eggs, hard-boiled eggs, and also she brought me some raw eggs for me to cook, amongst the food that she brought. And also, folks, she made me last night. She made me make I've lost the name of it now. pina colada. I got these kind of coconut and pineapple kind of yogurt drink things. I got some milk, a bit of vodka. Didn't have rum, but I went with vodka, and I didn't really have ice, but I'd got the melted water from some ice, so I cooled it all down with that, and I had a few pina coladas last night, so that wasn't bad. Pina colada-esque. And also fresa colada. It's the same thing, but made with a strawberry drink instead, strawberry flavors. So yeah, so that was Karen bringing those things, and I'm sure there'll be something that she brought me that I've missed off the list. Earlier in the week, Tina girl, you're kicking up all kinds of fucking dust. Oi, stop it! Fuck's sake! Stop. Dog. Earlier in the week, mystery lady in the field arrived. A lady and two children came down the field, and I heard voices. I think they heard Tina. Tina heard them. They stopped and just put the things down and kind of scarpered. And it seems to be becoming a regular thing. People coming kind of 3/4 of the way down the path and dropping stuff off. But there's a lovely note inside in Spanish, quite religious. We'll get to it. But thank you to the mystery lady who didn't stop and introduce herself. But a nice bag of food. Would have been an even nicer bag of food if Tina had not got into it the next day. What can you do? Dog! It's a tent. Where can you put things? You know what I mean? It's... Okay, what else we got? We got my friend Colleen arrived yesterday, bringing me a newspaper again, and 2 chicken carcasses for Tina, which she summarily destroyed, didn't you, darling? Chicken carcasses, they sell them for 30 or 40 cents in the some of the supermarkets or some of the butchers. You know, when they've taken all the portions off they want, and you're just left with the bones and little bits, little remnants. She likes to eat those. Colleen brought us a few of those, so thank you for that. And then last night, I think this is the last one, unless I've missed something. I hope not. Tony D sent me £10 worth last night, labelled simply as a spare coin. Thank you very much, Tony. Much appreciated, my friend. Much appreciated. So those folks, unless I get through the tail and realise that I've forgotten to add someone to the list of thanks, those are the thank yous for this week. The week ending June the 22nd, 2025, here in episode 74 of TrampCast. Okay. Did I finish? I didn't get... Oh, okay. When I was doing the thumbs up, subscribe, donate, I didn't finish. So, folks, if you haven't already, consider a thumbs up. Consider a subscribe if you've seen 3 or 4 or more of my videos. Consider donating, but only if you've got it and only if you feel like it. Only if you know what you're getting into, who you're funding and why. But I only got that far through the list when I was doing these initially. Okay, if you weren't here right at the start, check the bottom left corner of the player. Click on the player. You're looking for the word live with a red dot. This is if you're here on Sunday night. You're looking for the word live. If not, you could be following along half an hour behind. You could make a comment in chat and we might not have the context of what you're talking about because we're in the future. We've moved on. And so check for the word live. This now, everybody, whether you're here live or whether you're watching this video on demand, you want to have chat up. Either live chat if you're here for real or live chat replay if you're watching video on demand. I try to reference people's comments when I respond, but I don't always do a good job of it. So you might be better off having the message there in front of you. So that's live chat if you're here live, and it's live chat replay if you're watching video on demand. But also in either case, you want to select all messages, not top chat. Top chat will filter some things out and you won't see some messages for some reason. Even I don't get to see them sometimes. Quite annoying. Okay folks, let's move on after another swig. It is hot. Beer is actually quite warm. I finished a can just before we came live. Not only was it warm, it was fucking hot. I had hot fizzy beer, like hot fizzy lager on. Not good, not good. Okay folks, where are we? We have done the numbers, we have done the thank yous. Themes for the week. Episode 74 of TrampCast, and here are the themes that have the themes and kind of events, I guess, that have dominated this week. Procrastination, folks. If you know, you know. I'll get to it, but if you remember last week, I think last Thursday, I was told to attend court to be given papers about a court case which they had held in my absence without bothering to tell me 2 months ago. And the police contacted me on the phone for the first time ever and told me that the Guardia Civil would come and bring me some paperwork. And the paperwork said, go to court in the next few days. So I went, I got the papers, they're in Spanish. I can just about read Spanish. I'm not sure whether I can read it to a level sufficient for legal purposes. But there's always Google Translate, which again isn't sufficient for legal purposes. You don't want to be relying on that for real things, but it can give you a gist of anything. So I use that if I get stuck on things. But if you know anything about me, you know I am a procrastinator. I put things off, folks. Always have, always will. It's a psychological thing. You can't logic me into it. You can't explain why I should read the papers. I know I should read the papers. I know why I should read the papers. There might be an appeals process. It might be time limited. I could be able to get if the results of the trial are bad, I could get them overturned and have a new trial with me actually present. I know all that. I know it could be time limited, so I should read it. You can't logic me into or out of a position that I've taken up illogically. I will read them eventually when I get the courage. So anyway, that's a factor of the week. That's a major issue. That's been hanging over me each and every day. Shall I read them? Shall I read them? Every hour of every day. Shall I read them? And the more it hangs over me and the more it drills in there, the more I'm disinclined to do it. I know it's bad, I know it's silly. But like I said, you can't use logic to take me out of a position that I got into, emotionally, psychologically, I'm not sure how you describe it. But you can't logic me out of it. And I can't logic me out of it. It's been a problem all my life. I've always been a putter-offerer, if that's a word. Okay, here's one, folks. Here's a theme for the fucking week. Monster. We are about 2 months in this new tent, and we have taken our first damage. And her ladyship over here, as we always knew, her ladyship over here is responsible. But maybe responsible is not the right word. She did it. She was asleep at the time. So she won't sleep on the bed anymore. The bed's too warm for her. I said this last year, that she went to the kind of the northeast corner and would be on the coolest part of the floor, on the plastic floor of the tent. Well, she can't get into that corner. The tent's smaller, there isn't enough room. I've already got things in that corner. That doesn't work. And it just wouldn't work. But she's tried finding other spots that are the plastic that are the floor of the tent, and they're basically in front of the two doorways. Well, she was hutching backwards and backwards, pushing into the wall of the tent, pushing backwards and backwards. And then, for some reason, she turned over and had her legs against the fabric of the tent. And she fell asleep, and it was all lovely and cute as normal. But then she starts running in her sleep. She can't run in real life. She can't stand up. She can't walk. She bum shuffles. But in her sleep, when she's laying down, her legs do kick out and kind of run. But they were kicking out and kind of running against the fucking fabric of the tent. And the inevitable happened. And I heard what sounded like a tearing. And obviously I got off the bed, came out, looked towards her and got a bit angry, got a bit shouty, moved up, you know, I'm not going to say threw her out of the way, but I pulled her out of the way and was a bit annoyed. And there was only, I don't know, 2-inch tear. That doesn't sound right, does it? There was a 2-inch tear in the fabric of the fucking tent. I got the duct tape out. I immediately slapped a strip on each side, on the inside and on the outside. We'll get to it, folks, because there's more to it, and it's not the only damage we took this week. And the other one was nothing to do with Tina, as far as I can tell. There's a second small tear appeared. So damage to the tent. What I'm saying is that's a theme of the week. That we took our first consecutive days, but we took our first. We're taking our first damage. Now I'm really surprised it's taken this long, because of the way Tina gets in and out of the tent, sometimes unattended. Sometimes she sneaks off without me. It's another theme of the week. But when she drags herself over the threshold, over the skirt, over the fabric at the bottom of the door. Tina girl, shush shush. She's not stepping over it. She's not even trying to step over it. Her front paws go over. She pulls forward, and the back end is just dragged over. And yet, the tent, we're 2 months in, I think, and that hasn't been damaged, surprisingly. But as I said, another theme for the week is the fact that she started getting up and fucking off on her own. Until now, I've had this belt tied around her waist, and it was affixed. It was tied, fixed like a proper belt would be. And then I pick her up. I pick her back end up and oik her back end over the bottom of the doorway. Well, she's discovered how to do it on her own, hasn't she? And at certain times of the day, she'll come out of the, not usually this side, but the other side of the tent, and she'll come around and she'll come into this corner where she is now. This part, let me just show you under here. Look, she's just shuffled under the bush there. There's the belt actually on the shopping bag, but she's just shuffled under there now. Now normally, I don't know if you can see, above her bowl there, I tie her to the branches and I bring her out. But a couple of times this week I've fallen asleep in the afternoon. I usually have a little nap at some point. I'll put some trashy sci-fi AI sci-fi story on YouTube. I'll play something like that, and I'm enjoying it. I'm listening to it, but I'm getting a bit snoozy tired. It's really hot. I've got the fan on. It's a little bit relaxing, and I'll nod off, and I'll maybe have 20 minutes or half an hour at a time. A couple of times this week. So I fall asleep and she's in the tent, and when I wake up, she's not bloody there, is she? Now usually she'll be in this corner where I've just shown you. Sometimes she'll go under the bush just the other side, just outside the door of the tent. That's not a problem. I can just look out and there she is. But if I look out there and she's not there, that's a worry. I come here and usually she'll be here. But not always. The little bugger's taken a bum shuffling off to the parts where she used to go, like towards the cliff tops, where we used to walk when she could walk. She's taken off. So I come out all frantic. She's not in the one spot. I hope she's going to be in the second spot. She's not in the second spot. Then I've got to go back inside, get my shoes on, find her little belt that I used for supporting the back end, because it snapped last week, if you remember. So it's no longer affixed to her. I have to put her around her each time. Or if she was to kind of bum shuffle away and take it with her, it could come off at any point in the field. And there was one day, I don't think it was this week, it might have been at the back end of last week. There was one day that I spent like half an hour looking for her. You don't think she could get anywhere? She can't walk. But she bum shuffled away. I love her, but she's a fucking pain in the ass sometimes. Okay, folks, so let's have a look through the rest of the themes. What have I not mentioned? Heat. I've mentioned, you know, it's hot. It's hot, folks. It's way above. It's way above 30 degrees at times, and it's not dropping much below 25 at night, or not for most of the night. Maybe for an hour at like 6 o'clock it might get down to 23 or 22. But it's not a big part of the night. We're in the phase of what they call tropical nights, where it just doesn't get below 20 at any point, like for the next 3 months, maybe 4. So the heat and coping with the heat, and the tent obviously is like a greenhouse. It's warmer in there than it is out here. I'm actually so much cooler here now than I am in there. I forget about the parasol sometimes. I only dug it out. I was going to do the show from inside again today, but then I thought, no, don't be daft. Do it out. Partly because of all the food donations this week. There's not a lot of room in there. I got a full cool box for what it's worth, but I've got 3 or 4 bags of food inside the tent there. In the just on the floor, yeah. So I thought, no, we'll do it outside. We'll do it outside this week, and here we are, and it's not bad, is it? And now I'm realizing that I should be doing it. I should be sitting out here a little bit more myself. I should clear this table off a bit more. I should clean my cooking area a bit more. I should just clean the camp a bit more. But it's hot. All right. Heat, obviously. Tina walking off, I've talked about. Friends leaving. That's been a theme recently, hasn't it? Everyone's leaving Spain. All the Scandinavians, a lot of the Brits are going home for some time. My friend Karen's just gone home. Ismo went home a few weeks ago. Anthony was here and now he's gone. But he'll be back soon. Tom's gone home for I think another couple of months. Mark's gone home for a month and a half. So that a lot of the people who are I hope they don't mind me saying this, they're my kind of unofficial support network. They're the people that come and visit me. They say hello. They maybe bring me some water, a bit of food every now and again. I'm trying to think who's here at the minute. I can only think of. I've got my Spanish friends. Not many that are like here in Torrevieja. There's a few that are in some of the towns further south. There's a couple, but Adam and Mel went home as well. Yeah, just remembered. Yeah, Adam and Mel, Spanish memories. If you see them in chat, I don't think I haven't. I'm going to work backwards. Chippy's in the house. Hello, Chippy. I'll come back to chat in a moment, folks. I was just checking that some other people weren't here. But no, that's one of the themes really, is that I'm all a little lost and lonely again, I think. There are people that are going to be arriving soon, I'm fairly sure. bitey things around the bottom half of my legs. Finally, I think, when it comes to themes or events of the week, I've already mentioned it, the new tarpaulin. The old tarp has been splitting for about a month, and then, was it last week or the week before, it popped wide open and got quite a rip down the centre. And I didn't want to have more than a week or two with the sun on that fabric right on top of on the crown of the tent, right on the top. That's the part that's going to take the most ultraviolet and the most heat damage. So I eventually pulled my finger out. I didn't think I was going to manage it. Putting the tarp was larger than I thought. I thought it was 6 meters by 4. It's 8 meters by 6. And I've got it on sideways by accident. I unrolled it, saw that it was long enough, the 6 meters roughly of the length of the tent, and I thought, oh, okay. And then I tried putting it on over, and it was a bit of a performance. I had to use these clamps that I've got and put one corner on, and then I had to throw the rest over, and there was too much weight with all the plastic, so I had to put some rope on the middle part, throw the rope over, hoik it part of the way, still too much weight, come back and get the corners again and take some of the strain off, and then pull again, give it a big heave up and over the crown of the tent and over. But then that's when I realized that instead of having it on lengthways, 8 meters long along a 6 meter tent, and 6 meters would have done 2 meters up, 2 meters across, 2 meters down. It's actually 3 across, but it's sloped, so it would have fit about right. But I'd got it on sideways, and once it was up and on, I couldn't. We started to get a bit of a breeze, but I couldn't rotate the fabric around. I couldn't move. I couldn't reposition it once I'd got it on. So I've had to leave it on the way it is and tuck it under at the sides. I thought about just tucking it over, but that would have left a channel. That would have been a rain trap. I tucked it under and secured it with the pegs. Bit of a battle, folks, to be honest. Bit of a battle, and I screwed up by having it on sideways. But it's all right. By having it doubled at the sides, it gives a bit of extra protection from the sun. It's a little like the Arabs do with some of their gowns that are a double layer, because it heats up in the gap in the middle, but the heat's not coming straight through. So yeah, I think, let me just read through the list. Procrastination, tent damage, new tarp, heat, Tina walking off, and friends leaving. Yeah, that's those are the major kind of events or themes. They're not all events, but themes this week. So if you're not one of the ones that are going to stick around for the entire in-depth deep dive into the show, that's kind of roughly more or less what's happened this week. You could kind of, between the thank yous with the people bringing food and things, and the themes for the week, you've kind of got the potted story. You've got the summary of what the week was there, haven't you? I saw that people were arriving. I saw that my mate Chippy was there in I'll just work back. There's Tina saying she was Tina. There's Karen, sorry, saying she was cold. There was Paul arriving. Yeah, Bella, all the best with do you have one of those bladder showers, Mike? No, I haven't had a shower in well, it'll be almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in August, won't it? I do the soap and water on a cloth, not as often as I should, kind of thing. I wear t-shirts for far longer than I should. I sweat far more than I should because I'm staying in the tent more than I should. I'm doing it all wrong, basically. But no, I know that the problem with those showers where you put the water in and then you put them in the sun, it's the amount of water. I'm more or less always precariously balanced for water. So my mate Karen just brought me a load of water Friday, wasn't it? I've got, I think there was about 25 or so litres of water. I got odds and ends elsewhere. Oh, there was a couple of frozen bottles as well. And I've got some other bottles that were frozen once upon a time. I've maybe got 40 litres of water, maybe 45. Working on the basis of a gallon a day, or 4 litres per day is what they say. And I've got a dog as well, of course, which more than that. So if I'm drinking 2 litres a day, and we use a litre or whatever for other things, for cooking, for coffee, for whatever, dog, I've got maybe 10 days worth of water at any one point. I can't start, I for that reason I don't wash clothes. It's the same thing. You'd be amazed if I wanted to wash half a dozen t-shirts and a couple of pairs of undies or something. You'd be amazed at how much water that is. We used to use like 4 8-litre bottles of water, and that was doing it as minimalist as possible. Put the water in, give everything just an initial rinse. The water turns bright black or bright brown, turns into sludge overnight when you just soak things that you've worn for too long. So you throw that water away, you put another lot in and have another quick rinse to get rid of the muddy water out of the clothes. Then you do an initial, like a pre-wash, and then you rinse them off and do a proper wash, and then a proper rinse. And before you know it, you've gone through so much water you wouldn't believe. So I stopped washing clothes if I could avoid it. I occasionally will rinse out a t-shirt or a pair of undies or something with a litre or 2 of water. But fortunately, I have friends who have offered at times to take away a bag or 2 of clothes and wash things. I'm very lucky with the support network that we have built up over time, folks. Very lucky. Thanks, Karen. And everybody else, all the rest of you. There's lots of people who come out here and help me. But yeah, no, the shower thing would just be too much water. How does Tina cope with the heat? Oh, enriched, you're Oscar. Hello, Oscar. Tina copes with the heat by doing what dogs do. She looks for shade where she can. She digs holes in the ground a little bit too much. She might get me in trouble with that after a while. We might have to spend some time filling that back in at some point. I spray her down with water periodically. I've actually misplaced in the move. I haven't seen it. I've got a little yellow squirty bottle, you know, just pump it and it squirts. I have got like a detergent bottle, but it's still a bit chemically. It needs rinsing out a few more times. I'm using that at the minute to spray me and to spray my bed, and then the evaporation has the cooling effect, evaporative cooling, and that's working okay for me. But I can't spray her with it because it's still that little bit detergenty. We used to go up to the park and sit under trees through the day in summer. That's more difficult now because A, she can't get there, and B, we've kind of got valuables here now. The cool box, the solar panel, the EcoFlow, phones and tablets and other things that don't immediately come to mind. I don't know whether anyone would come and nick my fan. There's a fan, a slow cooker, electric blanket, no one's going to be stealing, I don't think. But I've just got things now that I'd be less comfortable leaving things unattended. Having said that, in all the time I've been homeless in Spain, even when I was just living in the park, staying in the park, and I would pile my things under a tree and fuck off for the day, nobody has ever taken anything. Except for one dog that took a mortadella, but dogs are going to be dogs, aren't they? I don't hold that against anybody, but but no, I thought someone stole a clock once, which I thought was a weird thing to take, But no, they hadn't. It just got buried in a storm. So no. So the things that we would normally do to cope, spraying with water, going to the park, are a little bit off the agenda at the minute because, well, I've lost the spray bottle, misplaced, and we can't get to the park. I try and make sure she's got some cool water to drink, but keeping water cool isn't easy. The cool box isn't working as well as it should. My fault again, I guess. It's tricky, but we do what we can. I don't know whether it's fined or not, Timony. I haven't read the paperwork. It could be a prison sentence. There was Chippy arriving. Hello, Chippy, my friend. You have some patches you can repair it with. Are they going to be any better than duct tape? We'll get to it, but I said I put duct tape on the inside and the outside. Next morning, the outside stuff was just laying on the ground. I think the damp... Well, you've got that double-edged thing, haven't you? Dust on the outside. Things don't like to stick... Things won't stick to dirty surfaces. So you've got the... It did initially. It appeared to stick. But overnight, with the dew and what have you, it peeled off. But the inside's still firm. It looks like it's a good, solid fix. I had to use more strips of tape on the second tear. A little bit concerned, like the first one I understand. I mean, Tina was whacking it with her legs. The other one is halfway up and half a tent over. Nowhere near anywhere that Tina would possibly be. That's maybe... We got whacked with the wind. The day that I put... We'll get to it shortly, but the day that I put the new tarp on... My voice isn't right. The day that we put the tarp on, me and the dog, the day we put the new tarp on, we got hammered with colossal winds that night. The weather forecast said 12 kilometers an hour. The other app, Windy, said 10 kilometers an hour with gusts up to 20. No fucking way. These were off the chart. These were some of the strongest winds that I've experienced. Easily 50 kilometers an hour, and hitting us broadside. But that was after I'd already found the second tear. So I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, okay. Let me quickly. I just quickly want to catch up. Was there any beer in the food parcels? There was alcohol in the food parcels, Tim. Wine, Tinto Verano. What's the other one? There's another carton of something, and then there was vodka. My friend Karen, her mum smokes like a chimney. Hi, Christine. And when they buy a few cartons of cigarettes when they're over here, I don't know how it works. I don't know if it's in the shop here. I don't know if it's duty free. I don't fully understand what it is. But if you buy enough cartons of cigarettes, there's a bottle of vodka stuck on the end. And that's not really their drink. So they've been passing that to me for the past... Is it a year? Is it 18 months? How long ago did we meet, Karen? Ever since TrampCast 001 or just after. So yeah, not beer this time, but alcohol, that definitely, yeah. Fama, hello Fabrizio. Nice umbrella, definitely necessary in the heat. Tent is okay besides the tarp. Tent's had a little bit of damage. It's very warm in there. Despite the fact, I think that having such a large tarp and having it looped under and 2 layers, and in places I'll double that again and there'll be 4 layers of fabric because I've got the tarp on kind of the wrong way. The 4 layers of fabric must be shielding the tent from the solar energy, from the sun. So it's very, very warm in there, but That's despite the tarp. I mean, there must be, to some extent on top, the extra layer of fabric must also be like a greenhouse. It must be holding heat in. But at the sides, we're keeping heat out by having it folded double or quadruple. But yeah, no, we're managing. No, I didn't say I got away with it. No. Timony. Whoa. Even if you get jailed in Spain, they don't just. It's not like take him down now. It's here's some paperwork. You've got a month. Go and get your affairs in order and report to the jail in a month's time. It's all rather civilized. Now the maximum sentence for what I was charged with was 1 year in jail. I haven't looked at the paperwork. It's not that I've got away with anything. I just haven't read the paperwork. I chickened out. Oh, where are we going here? How far back was that? Oh, there's a lot of chat here, isn't there? I might have to carry on with the rest of the show and come back to chat at the end. There's so much. No, you see, we've got some faulty info out there about no fines and stuff. But no, we don't know the score because I haven't read it. I've procrastinated. If you know anything about procrastination, it's almost a mental condition. Yeah, I can't be logicked into reading it. Have you got a trolley for your heavy lifting stuff? Is that to me? I got multiple trolleys. I've got 2 shopping trolleys, the old lady shopping trolleys, and I've got a trolley for fetching water and things. But I don't actually get to go anywhere because my dog can't walk. And I can't leave her. She's always suffered separation anxiety. This corner where she is now is marvellous. I can put her here, tie her to the tree, go around, go in the tent, talk to her from inside the tent, and then I can come out the tent, fuck off up the field, and go take the bins, go up to the bins at the top of the field, and once a week maybe to the Chino Bazaar, and she doesn't know I've gone. Sometimes she works it out, and I'll come back and she started barking once a second every second, but not a big bark. It's a little whimper of a bark. But she doesn't always know that I've gone. Sometimes I can be there and back before she knows. Whereas I used to tie her to this other tree. I used to tie her to that tree there, that bush, just the other side of the solar panel. And from there she could watch me walk away, which was no good. She would bark all the time. So I do have trolleys. I've got 2 old lady shopping trolleys. I've got a trolley for just loading things onto. Although my elastic, what do you call them? Those elasticated straps with the hooks on the end, bungee cords, they've perished. I would have to just use rope but I don't get to go anywhere and do anything. I could go and get water in summer. I'm assuming the foot wash place is open. It's bad water, but I've got the treatment tablets. Or falling back, as a fallback, I've got bleach. 1 drop per litre roughly, and you're good. 2 drops, it's possibly 2 drops per litre, isn't it? Depends on the size of your drops. And you got to do it by running it down a piece of string to get it to drop in. Something like that. And then you've got to leave it half an hour, and then you've got to open it up and vent it for half an hour. All a bit of a faff, but I can do it. I've done it in the past. But no, I've got trolleys. I've done that as well in the past, Bella. Bella's asking why not wash your body in a small bowl, then use the water to wash a few clothes. I've done that as well, yeah, to be efficient with the water usage. There are no babbling brooks, no rivers within reach. I mean, there's the sea. My mate Joby used to go and get a he'd fill an 8 litre bottle kind of thing, and down at the sea. But there isn't even a nice place to stand and just dip and into it. It's all very precarious and rocky and nasty. But he used to fetch seawater back and give his clothes a pre-soak in the salt water. But then you got to rinse all the salt out, haven't you? But dog. If I fuck off to the beach, what's the dog doing? Whimpering, shouting, barking, bringing attention on us that we don't want. I'd be abandoning my dog for, what, half an hour? Oh, and then there's the cliff that I have to walk back up to bring the water back. You know what I mean? I'm not young. It is, you are walking up a hill like that, with what? 1 or 2 8-litre bottles. Yeah, I like it when you guys throw ideas out. It's just not always practical. A cheap spray bottle, like, yeah, I could probably do that once I've got. I'm gonna have to put some money on my card. Karen brought me a new card out this time because if you remember, I folded my my prepaid debit card thing. I folded it in half right across the corner such that the chip popped out, so I needed a new card. Karen brought me that. Got to put some money on that, and then I can look at but I can if I keep going, if I keep rinsing the bottle I've got out, the chemically one, it'll rinse out over time, won't it? No one's going to nick your fans. We're all still here, Mike. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not averse to wading into the water, Bella. I'm not averse to that. I've done that before. It's just as I said, what do I do with Tina while I do it? She's not going to be walking down the cliff with me, and if she did, she'd never get back up. I'd be doing a fireman's lift with her, wrapped around, you know, holding her legs while I scramble back up a cliff. It's not exactly a cliff, but it's a bloody steep hill. And it's not always got good footholds in it. Because it weathers, it deteriorates, things fall off, and yeah, you know. Let me get a move on. Duct tape. Okay, here's words of wisdom from Chipmunk. Duct tape is like the Force. It has a dark side, it has a light side, and it holds the universe together. Nice. Oh, it's jumped right to the bottom. How far back am I? I am in a bit of a habit at the minute of wearing t-shirts for far too long. I have got more clothes than I know what to do with. I mean, this is the thing at the minute. There's 3 bags still in the field over there. I got more jackets than I possibly ever use in a lifetime. I've got about 10 jackets at the minute. All that people donate, and it's when people bring a bag of stuff and just like dump, it's not the right word. They're being generous, they're being nice, and there'll be something in the bag that they bring that I'll have a use for. But when you've already got 8 jackets and someone brings you 2 more, I think at the minute, I counted the other day, I have got 4, count them, 4 sleeping bags. And I'm currently not using any of them. I sleep under 2 duvets. Well, I sleep on top of, I haven't slept inside the bed in about 2 months, I think, at the minute. I sleep on top of the bed. It's too warm. But that leaves me to feed the mosquitoes. Yeah, like now, little bastards, these are flies, not mozzies, but same difference, they're eating me. I don't know where I am in the chart. Do I need to go backwards or forwards? Okay, duct tape, chipmunk there. I'm working forwards from there. They won't lock you up. You don't cost anything there, Chief, says Tim Timoney. Yeah, you see, you're thinking logically. Governments don't do that. Okay, there's a discussion about whether salt water deteriorates clothes quickly. Like I said, I've got more than I know what to do with, but Karen's answering it was about 18 months we've known each other. I often, in summer, I'll take the t-shirt off and give it a rinse in water, hang it up for 2 minutes just to start the drying process, the evaporation process. And then even if you do it in warm water, if the water's been out in the sun, so you give it a rinse in warm water. But after you've hung it up for 2 minutes, you put it on. It's not ice cold, but it's cold. And for an hour or so, you've got that evaporative cooling thing going on. So I do that, you know. I haven't really done that now. For now, I've been spraying myself with water. But as it gets even warmer from now, it's about this time of year, I guess, that I would start dipping it in a bowl of water, which it's giving the t-shirt a rinse, and it's giving me the benefits of the cooling. And now that I've got the fan as well, if I had a damp t-shirt on, a wet t-shirt inside the tent, but with the cross breeze or the fan blowing on me, I'm going to be even cooler. I've also got a backup bit of cooling going on because my cool box isn't working very well. I've still got a wet towel in there with drinks and things inside, butter and aioli that I'm trying to keep cool. Oh, don't say that, Tim Timoney. We don't want a babbling brook. We don't want a stream of water running through this field. It has a habit of being, once there is an actual stream running through, it has a habit of, as the water runs down the hills, some storm drain somewhere gets overcome and we get a wave come through the field. Hasn't happened since 1 month after I moved in here, but it happened on the first night I was here and it happened 30 days later. My voice still isn't right, folks. Too high pitched. I don't know why. I sound squeaky. Lubricate the throat and man up a little bit. Yeah, the foot washing place is the bad water. Yeah. Every time me or Tina drink the water from there, we get the shits, both of us. Now, I've had other people tell me, oh, the water at the one I go to is fine. You know, they stand there and drink it and say that they're okay afterwards. But the one I go to, ever since I moved here, well, I had a few weeks. When I first moved here, I brought an awful lot of water with me from the park, which I used to get from the broken sprinklers. At night, when the sprinklers come on, you'd have one that just bubbled. It wasn't spraying, it was just gushing out. I'd fill the dog bowl, I'd wash the dog bowl, fill it, and then I'd pour that into pop bottles. Or I think I had a 5-litre water bottle at one point. Well, I had a bunch of them, and I would use the dog bowl to fill those. So when I moved down here, I had to make 4 or 5 trips bringing water with me. So I had quite a few weeks here before I ran out of water. And then I went to the foot wash place, and from then on, oh man, I had the squits for 2 weeks solid. Couldn't work out what was going on to begin with. Couldn't work out what. Now this wasn't This was the kind of thing, your stomach's rumbling and you know it's wrong and you know it's going to happen, but not for a couple of hours. It's not like, oh, immediate, got to go. You felt it building and it was kind of, it was controllable. But running to the trees every couple of hours and like I said, it wasn't just me, it was the dog as well. That was a tricky time. Fortunately, we'd made friends there with a couple of blokes and they bought me the water purification tablets. I spent a couple of months boiling water, chopping wood and boiling water, Got in trouble with the police over having an open fire, all of that. Well, not trouble with them, I had arguments with them. But I told them, it's an emergency. Survival, mate, survival. I'm not playing at this. This isn't camping, this is survival. Oh! Okay, folks, I gotta crack on. Where are we? We're on an hour and a quarter. Karen is indeed a real angel, Tim Timney. You are quite correct. 2 years of patiently waiting for Mike to catch up in chat. Yeah. Is that something you can buy, Chippy? The evaporative coolers. I did like a homemade one the other week, but it took up too much space. Wet towels rippled over the clothes dryer, and then the fan blowing not through the towels, but blowing between the towels. But I saw one online, like a homemade one yesterday, with a sponge the bottom end sat in a tray of water directly behind the fan, so the fan's blowing and it's bringing air in and it's doing the evaporative thing. I could somehow I could have. Oh, here's the thing. I could have suspended a towel on the mesh on the frame behind the fan. Except my lady here went and broke the base of the fan. My fan's just propped up against the chair at the minute in a bit of an awkward thing. We broke the base, didn't we, darling? Dog. So I couldn't suspend a towel on the back of it anymore. My ears are popping for some reason. Is that a sign of like a thunderstorm or something? Is there a pressure difference building? Or maybe that's something to do with why my voice was going funny. Blocked eustachian tube or something. Maybe, who knows? I make this shit up, who knows? Right, I want to catch up with chat. Yeah, Joby's the one that went off on his bike, English bloke that went south. And just got back a few weeks ago, but then someone nicked his phone, so I haven't heard from him since. You worry about the beer situation. So they are a thing that you can buy, an evaporative cooler. I guess you fill a tray with water, there's some kind of sponge or fabric behind the fan, and then the fan blows out, the air comes around or through the wet fabric. Yeah. Oh, tank and a sprinkler, okay. Mark, hello. Can't believe I still haven't read the letter. I know. 17th of July. What's that? Is that just 3 weeks away? Just over. I shall see you then, mate. Oh no, I'll have read it. I have to read it this week because the last little incident I had out here, there was a 2-week period where you could appeal. I've used one of those weeks up, assuming it's the same. I haven't read it, but assuming it's similar. Now, I would possibly even after the deadline, I'd probably still have an appeal based on the fact that I'm not qualified to read Spanish legal texts. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Let me get on with, am I up to date? Mark's the last one that's appearing here, but whoa, I don't want to ban him. No. But I'm going to go top chat and then back to live chat. See if there's any extra. No, Mark is the last chat. I am caught up in chat, folks. Okay. If you're sitting comfortably, then we might finally fucking begin. I think I've done everything. Yeah, themes, thanks and themes. Okay, so we're about to begin the week proper. Cheers to you guys. Cheers to the subscribers. Cheers to you guys for being here. And cheers to everyone who's hit that thumbs up. Okay, 120 kilometers, that's a long way away. May have been a solstice. What may have been? Yesterday was a solstice. Which means sun stationary or sun standing. If I remember correctly. Goes back, doesn't it, to the fact that we are the only solar system in existence. There are plenty of other sun systems or planetary systems, but there's only one called the solar system because our sun is called Sol. There is only one solar system, technically. Oh, Tina, you're throwing the dirt up again, darling. Okay, folks, I think I just had a swig, didn't I? Cheers to everybody out there. Okay, folks, let's make a begin. Let's make a start. We're an hour and 21 in. It feels like I've been out here longer, but we haven't even started yet. So as we dive into the events of the week ending today, Sunday, June the 22nd, 2025, here in TrampCast, episode 74. We begin, as we usually do, with last Sunday after the previous TrampCast. So after TrampCast episode 73 last week, I had a bit of backache. Sitting weird in the chair, I guess, and just, I don't know. Nothing too serious, folks. If you remember a month or two ago, I was struggling with backache and taking painkillers more regularly than I'm comfortable with. I haven't touched a painkiller, I think, now in about a month. I don't think. I haven't done anything to aggravate it. There were times when I'd be carrying the back end of the dog and she'd stagger off to the left or the right, and the sudden, you know, when you put your foot in a hollow and jars your back. I kept aggravating my back injury, and for the last month, nothing. I've had a few days where I've had to go out here going through my stuff that needs sorting through still, fetching things and a bit of back and forth, carrying things, and I've had a little bit of stiffness, but not what you would call pain, not like an actual backache. So just sitting in the chair for a few hours last week just got me a little bit, but nothing too serious. So after that, a little bit of a relax. I carried on sitting in the chair afterwards, which I don't really use that chair day in, day out. I said earlier, I might start because it's cooler there than in the bedroom because of the through draft. I'd have to find somewhere else to prop the fan up. I'm going to start using that. But I sat there just for a little bit. I didn't have too long because I'd already announced that we were going to do a TrampCast hangout. So I had to disassemble my little podium and put things away and shuffle things about. I had to relax a little bit and unwind and come down from the performance, and then get ready for the hangout later, which we duly had. TrampCast Hangout 18 was last Sunday evening, and it was a good fun. 4.5 hours. and thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you to everybody who attended. 5 miles away from keyboard. Okay, mate. See you when you see you. No worries. But yeah, well, thank you to everyone that was there. It was a good laugh. If you haven't attended one yet, folks, it's just you guys. It's you and me just hanging out, a lot like this, with the chat, but with no structure. I know what you're saying. This hasn't got any fucking structure. I try to give it some structure. I try to give it some structure. This, but the TrampCast Hangouts is open ended. You come, you ask your questions. I might prepare a couple of topics beforehand, some sciencey or technology stories. Feel free to bring your own science, technology, maybe even news stories. Don't mind touching on politics, but I'm not getting deep into anything. Just causes division and arguments. Not doing that. Don't want to go there. I'm not. We're not going there. But TrampCast Hangouts, folk, come and give them a go. We're going to do one tonight, 10 o'clock my time. That would be 9 o'clock UK, 4 p.m. Eastern in the US. Everybody else, hold on, did I get that right? 10 o'clock Spain, 9 o'clock UK, at 4 p.m. US Eastern. Yeah. Everybody else, work it out from there. I can't, I'm not your mum, I can't work out the time for you. Also, once I've created it in YouTube, it'll send you the alert and it'll tell you what time it starts. Just keep an eye out on my channel for a live stream tonight. And click the alert button, the notification button. But they're a good laugh. I've enjoyed every one of them that I've done so far. Occasionally I'm a little bit more tired and run out of steam. Occasionally we run out of people in attendance, so I call it quits. But you're too hairy to be mum. Yeah, I know. You like that one, don't you? You've used that one before. Okay, so that was Sunday night, folks. TrampCast Hangout. That's where my friend Josie gave a donation and told me not to thank her. So obviously I'm going to thank her. Thank you, Josie. That's your second thank you just in this one episode. It was a good chunk of donation as well. So thank you. Much appreciated. She said, don't thank me, just enjoy it. Get away, little bugger. You know those flies that land on you and when you go for them, they take off, and then as soon as they're back again. Those cussed little awkward buggers. It's one of those ones. Okay, folks, that was Sunday. Into Monday. Usual Monday morning stuff. Solar panels, eco flows, blah, 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 blah. Charging phones, making coffee, and then back inside and just laying and watching videos. We get to 11:15 in the morning and I hear voices. And usually that would mean that they're over here on the road, on the little track that runs past. But these were in the field. That's always a worry. Tina starts barking. Lady starts talking, and I hear the footsteps receding. I think they're going away. They go the other way. And by the time I get Tina out of the way and I get to the door and come outside, thinking maybe it's those kids that have been throwing stones or whatever, I didn't really think that. I heard what I thought was a woman's voice, but I did hear some children. But by the time I got out of the door, there's a bag in the pathway, and there's a lady and two children up at the top of the field, exiting the field. So I shout thank you and get no response. So I shout muchas gracias, and then they respond. Then they've heard me and understood. So yeah. That's the lady who dropped off and it was a good food donation. There was a couple of pre-cooked meals in there, only one of which I got to eat. Fucking dog! I love her. Sometimes I could fucking strangle her. and there was these crackers in there. There was a bag, a little plastic bag with all these dry, like Rivita or something. You know, the cracker bread that you would put, you would spread jam or something on and eat fruit or something. She got in and this is the next morning, but fucking mess everywhere, everywhere. And she got, we'll get to it because it's the next day. We're not far from it. Just bear with me, folks. Bear with me. Okay, this was where I noticed that I'd picked up 5 new subscribers overnight. So presumably from the TrampCast Hangout. That's really unusual. The Hangouts normally only attract people who already know me. Maybe we'll get 1 or 2 newcomers who come in and say hello. They're looking to see what's what. And obviously I caution everybody, don't subscribe on your first visit. So to suddenly find myself with 5 new subscribers was strange. That set me, I thought something wasn't right. That will come back, we'll come back to that. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, the woman and the children were leaving the field and they'd left the goodies behind. As I said earlier, they left a nice note. It's in Spanish, quoting some Bible stuff. I'm not big on religion myself, but I'm not against it. You know, I'm not against it or people who are religious. From what I could tell, Jehovah's Witnesses, but I've still got to translate some of it. But they're obviously nice people, meant well, doing their thing for, you know, helping out in the community. Much appreciated. So thank you, mystery Spanish lady. I think Spanish because when I shouted muchas gracias, we got an acknowledgement, whereas when I shouted thank you, she didn't catch it or didn't respond. Yeah, I made a note. You know, I'm not anti-religious, but I'm not going to convert. I'm not. You know, it doesn't matter how much food you bring me, how nice the notes are, and how good the little bits of scripture are. You're not going to persuade me. I lean science, but I'm grateful. I'm still grateful. I am grateful. Okay, my only other real notes for the day. I mean, I can tell you what I did, but my other notes were, I'd promised on Sunday that I would read the court papers on the Monday. Tina! And I didn't. I procrastinated, as we've said. I put it off and put it off. Each hour I kept telling myself, I'll do it at 10 o'clock, I'll do it at 11. Oh, I don't think it's so much. I'll do it at 11. No, I'll do it this afternoon. I'll do it later. Oh, maybe tomorrow. And that's... Tina girl, that's enough. Shush, shush. Quiet. Quiet, quiet. Tina girl. Silencio. She's not going to, is she? Anyway. Yeah, that just hung over me all day. And I've just watched more episodes of the Martian thing, War of the Worlds, the 19... I thought it was a 1990s TV series. It might be. Well, I think it was. It might have been. But yeah, that's when I've not been just watching YouTube and or doom scrolling through Twitter. I've been getting into a few. I've been getting into a few contentious issues on Twitter. I'll mention this one, folks. So some scroats invade a British Air Force base and damage planes, and not one of them got shot. What the fuck? You invade an army base, you should get shot. 1/3 of them should be dead. 2/3 should be in hospital with bullet wounds. That's the general, when people get shot, that's like your general spread. 1/3 dead, 2/3 injured. But anyway, that just annoyed me that we're turning soft. We're turning soft at a time when we're about to go to war, possibly. And we've got people disabling our aircraft, acting basically on behalf of a foreign power. And they don't get shot. Is that because there were no guards at all? Or the guards were there and just had dummy rounds in the guns, or what? I don't get it. Too much paperwork. Yeah, bad press, publicity, blah, blah. We've gone soft, mate. You invade a fucking Air Force base, you get shot. This is an updated version, Tim Timony. The TV series is like a continuation. It's like, basically there's been 2 or 3 previous invasions. So you had the one, like the original book. Then you had the Orson Welles radio play, was supposed to be a cover-up for the real invasion. Then you had the 1950s, so the radio play, was that the 30s or 40s? Then you had the 1950s film. So they take it as if there's been this series of invasions before, but somehow the Martians make us forget. And as well as that, the government conspired to do a cover-up to keep us all happy. And the aliens didn't die at the end of the last one. They were put in barrels, and some radiation accidentally brought them back to life. And that's the launch point for the TV series. It's not as bad as it sounds. Karen must be tired, or I'm boring. One or the other, mate, eh? I guess you're not worried about YouTube algorithms. Not too much. I refuse, as I've mentioned a couple of times, I refuse to have my speech be policed. So I will say things that that might be considered controversial. If you were here a few weeks ago, you know. I dropped a full-on N-bomb with a hard R, just because you should be able to. Wasn't calling anybody names. It's not a word I would use ordinarily, but we've got to take the sting out of these things. You should be able to speak. Tina, shush, shush, shush. Quiet, quiet. Quiet, quiet. She's a lady walking past with her kid. The Orson Welles one is funny because I've heard the radio play, and there are adverts throughout it. There's an explanation that it's a radio play, but what happened was a lot of people were at I think someone said it was a baseball game, but it might have been a concert. A lot of people were busy somewhere. And then they came out, got home, and joined the story halfway through. Somehow missed the adverts and the pronouncements that this is Orson Welles' radio theatre company, and they missed it. So they took it as, because the radio play was acting as though it was a news broadcast. They missed the warnings, the alerts, the adverts, and jumped in at the beginning. Yeah, they missed the beginning. They jumped in halfway through and caught the shitty end of the stick, as it were. Anyway, where was I, folks? Where was I? We were finishing off Monday. I was just saying that's what I'd been watching, the War of the Worlds TV series from the 80s or 90s. It's either late 80s or early 90s with Jared Martin. Okay. Now, late at night, I discovered I'd lost a couple of subscribers. Now, my numbers fluctuate. The numbers fluctuate. Up one, down one, up one, down two. But it's unusual for me to lose 2 in a day. And this coming the day after I gained 5 out of nowhere. That was suspicious, and I thought something was going on, and we'll see shortly. So that was Monday into Tuesday, again, usual morning stuff. But after we've done all the dog walk and the water and the coffee and the solar panels, EcoFlow, put the Christmas lights out, the solar powered lights out in the sun. Well, after we've done all that, I settled down and I'm watching some videos. I've put these crappy sci-fi AI stories on, and I've dozed off. And this is where I'm half awake, half asleep. I'm kind of listening to the story in my sleep, following the plot just about, dozing in and out of consciousness, I guess. But I start, why can I smell a curry? Why the hell, what? That's nice. And I think, what? And I realise that there's no houses nearby. Nobody's going to be cooking curry nearby. Fucking dog! She's got into this bag of food that the ladies brought the day before. I'd had one of these pre-cooked meals, and there was another Tupperware there with, well, not a Tupperware, but you know, the aluminium foil takeaway kind of containers with a cardboard over the top. Matey girl's got into it, hasn't she? And she's chewing her way through. She's 2/3 of the way through some kind of chicken curry, I think. I'll never know. Fucking dog. What could I do? She was so far into it that I just had to give it. I mean, I was angry. I was shouting. I was stomping around. I'd pulled her off it, but then she's 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through it. What are you going to do? She might as well finish the rest. I'm not going to eat it, am I? Dog. She takes these things into her own hands. Suddenly, this last week, she's become very independent compared to her normal self. Arranging her own dinners, going for her own walks. There was one day, I didn't make note of what day it was, but similar thing. I'm lying on the bed, it's very, very warm, I've got the fan going, there's a bit of a cool breeze, it's quite relaxing. I'm low down, so I'm trying to stay as cool as possible, even though it is literally red hot all around me. And I've got these AI sci-fi stories playing away. You know, there's only really like 5 stories that get recycled and rejumbled, and even the names of some of the characters are... But anyway, there's this whole category of science fiction. I think it's from an internet group somewhere, probably on Reddit. What's the... HFY. HFY. And there's all sorts of different channels, all follow it. And it stands for humans. Fuck yeah! Basically, the aliens do something terrible and the humans say, no, we're not having that. And the humans go away, and it turns out that for 50 years or 100 years we've been planning for this, and we've got all this technology built up that no one else knows about. They're all quite corny and a little bit crap, but there's something to listen to. Anyway, I'm lying on the bed, I'm listening to this, I've got the fan on, I doze off. The dog's inside the tent at the bottom of the bed, not on the bed, but just off the bed, next to one of the doors. I wake up half an hour later, 20 minutes, half an hour later, and there's this yapping, this kind of weak little bark. Rah, 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 but it's kind of distant. So she hasn't just, sometimes she'll step out of the tent and just be in the bushes outside. Or like I said, she'll come out and she'll come around here. She was further away sounding than this. She's she's like in the middle of the road. She cannot walk. She's bum shuffling. If a car comes along, she's in the road. I mean, it's a little dirt track. It's not, road's overstating it, but she's just sat there. Rah, rah. If a car came, he'd have to stop for half an hour, wait for it to get out the way. Anyway, I took a look out, I saw where she was, got her little belt, put it around her waist, hiked her up. I took it as a signal that maybe she wanted to walk. She didn't want to be in the tent, so I took her for a walk. And Itchy nose, folks. All these little, I think I had a little fly up my nose. But anyway, I took it as a signal that she wanted a little walk, took her for a little walk, brought her around and deposited her where she is now, kind of thing, in a little, this is Tina's Corner. If I say Tina's Corner, this is where we mean. You had to look at the screen to tell it was me doing the little bark. That's Tina's, she has a couple of bark. Do you know, for the first month when I got her, I didn't know she could bark. We were all worried that there was something wrong with her, like physically. She didn't bark. She didn't have the confidence to bark. I think I've told the tale of how I got Tina, but she'd almost starving to death. She'd knocked on someone's door by banging her head. Gone, stayed with a family for a couple of weeks, stayed with another lady for a couple of weeks, but that didn't work out. And then I got her. And honestly, I think it was a month before I heard her back. Even when other dogs were having a go at her in the park. Yeah, no, we were all quite worried for a while. I'll just have a look at the last few messages. Okay, she can bark. Yeah, she can bark for Valencia now. Yeah. Where am I, folks? Where am I? We were at the end of Monday. Did we get into Tuesday? Hold on. Yeah, oh yeah, when she got into the food and I said about the crackers being spread all the way. Yeah. 2/3 of her way through curry. Yeah, I'm angry with the little bugger. And this, just after this, where I found the first damage to the tent. And I knew from where it was, I knew it was where she'd been pushing and pushing backwards at first into this area of the tent. And then just before she went to sleep, she'd kind of turned over and her legs were against the wall and she'd been doing that kicking thing. And that's when I noticed the first tear in the tent. And did my repair. Taped it inside and out. But my only other real notes for the day are more procrastination, which is obviously carry on. I still haven't looked at the notes from the court, the papers from the court. But here's the thing, that night, I told you that she got into like some kind of curry, which dogs are not meant to get. Certain spices are actually going to be harmful for dogs' stomachs. But Tina's always had whatever I eat, and it's never seemed to bother her. She drinks milk, and people tell me you shouldn't give dogs milk because they're supposedly lactose intolerant. Not her, she's fine with that. But this night, oh my God, her ass was so bad. Oh, I had to keep checking whether she'd shit. It was so bad. Unbelievably bad. All night. I kept taking her out every 2 hours or so, just in case she needed to go. If she needed to go, then I'd rather actually be walking her. But no, each time I brought her out, we'd get a short distance away, and she'd just turn around and want to come back, which is a signal that it was vile. Yeah. And again, folks, Tuesday night, -2 subs again, 2 more subscriptions gone. So we gained 5 on the Sunday night into Monday, and we lost 2 on Monday and 2 on Tuesday. I think they were probably just bots that had subscribed on the... that's what I'm taking it as. On the Sunday night, I don't expect to pick up new subs on a TrampCast Hangout. It's usually people who already know me from here. Maybe you pick up one every now and again, but we're into what was that? TrampCast Hangout 18. And it's the first time I've picked up more than 1 new subscriber. And it was 5. Weird. Anyway, that was Tuesday. Into Wednesday, 6 a.m. dog walk, and my lady's ass has been bad all night, as we've said. Do all the usual morning stuff, but still nothing. She's not depositing anything, despite the absolute rancid nature of the gases that come. And she's not normally She's not normally gaseous. She's not a... No. When I shared an apartment with a Swedish bloke, we used to joke that she kind of almost never farted. And when she did, it would just be a little squeak and no smell. She'd just be walking along and she'd hear the noise and be surprised herself. She'd be looking around like what the fuck's that? Yeah, that was always bizarre. Her own farts took her by surprise, but yeah, no, you would think that with it smelling that bad that she'd have the trots or something. You'd think that she'd be being particularly productive, but no. So this Wednesday morning, this is when I finally get on with taking. I'd been planning on it for a few days, but it'd just been that little bit too windy. You got to remember, I'm doing this on my own. Wrangling 2 tarps, taking one off, putting another one on, securing it in place, getting it up and over the whole rest of the tent. But it was a calm day, no wind or very little. So at 8 a.m, even though we'd been out at 6 for the dog walk, but at 8 I thought, fuck it, let's get this stuff done. I had to get up at 8 and do the solar anyway. Put the solar panel out, connect the EcoFlow to the panel, do all that normal stuff. But I thought, right, let's just get this done now. Otherwise, I'd be telling myself, oh, I'll do it at 10 o'clock. Oh, maybe this afternoon. I didn't want to be, for once, I didn't want to be procrastinating anymore with anything else. I got enough going on with that already at the minute, haven't I? Oh, I didn't realise my beer's sat in the sun. So anyway, I decided to crack on with it, and we got the new tarp out, laid it out. It was the right length. Attached the 2 corners at the far ends, the length, just the right length. A little bit of spare hanging over, about 6 to 12 inches either side, spare. Brilliant. Trying to throw it over, couldn't get anywhere. There was just too much weight. So that's when I came up with the idea of putting some cordage in the middle, on the middle grommet along the length. Throw that over and try and haul it over from the other side. But the weight at the corners was just too much holding it back. So I tied it off, secured it halfway up, came around and lifted the corners, got those up to the crown of the tent, up to the crown, up on the peak, secured them with the pegs, and then went back around and pulled the cordage again, and it just came straight over. I surprised myself. You got to remember, guys, I am the least practical man you have ever known. I'm not a manly man. I'm not a let's tinker with a petrol engine. I'm not practical. Wrenches and screwdrivers and hammers and shit. I'm not that man. I'm not that guy. Inside a computer case, yes. Anywhere else, just fucking no. I'm just not that guy. How I've managed to do half the things I've managed to do here. How I built my first camp, my first shack out of 6 broom handles, 4 branches and 4 wedges, some bits of string and an old broken down tarp. And how I built a bed. Looking back at some of the stuff I've done, I don't recognize myself. I am not that guy. And yet, I've managed. There's been some glorious, momentous fuck-ups along the way. But yeah, some of the things I've achieved, folks, some of the things I've achieved. If you've never seen the shack that I was living in, you got to find my first ever video and just look at the abomination I was living in. It's a fucking abomination, but it did me for 5 months or so in the wilderness. Yeah. Okay, back to it. Where are we? So yeah, I got the corners up and over. I got that midpoint, pulled on the cord and pulled it all over, and away we went. So I cracked it. I got it done. And that's when I realised how much extra there was, kind of widthways. Turns out the tarp is 8 meters by 6 meters, and I've run the 6 meters as if it's the length of the tent, which it is. A little bit over at the footprint, but the roof is 6 meters. But now I've got 8 meters going across the tent. Now, even if you say 2 meters up at each side and kind of 2 or 3 across, there's enough fabric to go literally from the ground up and over and down to the ground with some to spare. But of course, I need to get in and out, the doorways and things. It's too much. Really, I need to rotate the whole thing. But how do you do that, one man on your own? The answer is you don't. So I just folded it under at the sides to have this double thickness, and in places doubled it again to have a quadruple thickness, which has actually worked out. I might actually leave it this way. It has some benefits for shielding the sun. So we'll see how that works out. Where am I? Quadruple layers, yeah. This is where I find, so I'd said the day before that we'd had a tear in the tent, and I'd stuck tape on both sides. Just one strip on the inside, one strip on the outside. But I find the outer piece of tape just on the floor, kind of wet and wrinkled and totally lost its tackiness. So I thought about sticking another strip out there. In the past, I found that if you can make something stick for 2 or 3 days, it'll stick forever. But sometimes you just can't make things stick, and if there's too much dust or damp or whatever on the tent. So at the minute, that first tear has just got the one strip inside holding it all, and it seems fine, to be fair. You can't even, from the outside, there's like a hairline split, but you can see with the tape showing through in the gap. I don't think it needs another piece of tape. But while shortly after finding that and hiking, pulling over the tarp, this is where I found the second little rip, about that big, but like halfway up the tent and kind of towards this end. Nowhere near Tina's bean, nothing to do with Tina. No idea how it's got there, but this one was, I think, was slightly at an angle, so I put 3 strips, but only on the inside. I didn't bother taping the outside, but I put one on and then overlapped so that the others secure that one. We'll see how it goes. It seems to be holding okay now, but yeah, I don't like the fact that 2 months in and I've now got two injuries, two faults in the tent, and one of them I can't explain. The one with the dog, obviously. I mean, that was always going to happen. Tina was always going to do something, but Peckham Council, you guys are off doing trotters again, aren't you? No income tax, no VAT. Del Boy and Rodney. Okay, about this time, no, a little bit later, I think I'd laid down. I'd had enough hard work for the day, repairing the tent and swapping out the tarpaulin. I decided to have a lay down and just watch a few videos, pass some time, not get too hot. Guys, the minimum amount of effort I do, and my forearms and shot just wet through, like dripping wet. Doesn't take much in the way of effort to be wet through. So I try not to overexert myself, especially in the middle of the day. As soon as we get past kind of 10 in the morning, and even now, I had to put the fan on this morning. I'll get ahead of myself here a bit talking about this, but where have we got the notes for today? By 8:30, I'd got the fan on. It was too hot inside the tent. 8:30. Now it's the morning after the longest day, so you've got the sun's up early and above the tree. It has to get above the trees, but 8:30 and too hot. Crazy. And it's only going to get worse over the next 2 months, isn't it? Until the end of August, when it starts to slacken off a little bit. Where was I? So yeah, I laid down and was just listening to YouTube videos, doing whatever. But this was when I noticed the donation from my friend Sven. He'd actually made it a few hours earlier, but I think my phone might have been on charge when it first came through, so I didn't notice it or hear it. So when my phone's on charge, I usually turn the volume down, share the hotspot, and use my tablet. Tina, quiet. Quiet. Tina, shush. It's okay, babe. It's okay. Hola, buenas. Tina, quiet. There's some young lads walking past, young men. So anyway, yeah, my Swedish friend Sven has gone home for the summer, and they just moved out here in the last year, and I shouldn't say too much today about other people's business, but they're sorting through their possessions back home, and he sent me what seems to have become a regular donation. So thank you, Sven. Thank you, Sven and Anna. Thank you. One day I will get to come to one of these bars where you're playing and have a beer with you, maybe. That would be nice. Don't hold your breath. I'm not likely to be in a position anytime too soon. But when you're next over here, it would be nice to work something like that out. Okay, folks. That evening, 8 o'clock at night, out of nowhere, no warning, thunder and lightning, long, loud rumbles, and a little bit of rain, a little tinkle of rain. But long, loud, deep. You know, I said the other week about how thunder can shake the ground and must be measurable on seismometers, seismographs, whatever you want to call them. And my mate Jack Attack looked it up and found that that's true. They're actually called thunderquakes, which I think is the most fucking fantastic. It's the most fantastic name for such things. Thunderquakes. When the thunder's so deep and booming that the ground literally shakes with it. I love that. Thunderquakes. But yeah, so we had that going on. A little bit of rain. So that was 8 o'clock that started. No significant rain. I mean, a little bit, but nothing too much. But at 9:30, 21:30, the most incredible winds come out of nowhere. I mean, out of nowhere. The weather forecast is saying 13 kilometers an hour. The other app, called Windy, says 10 kilometers on average with gusts of 20. No. I mean, I've been in a few fucking bits of bad wind out here where it's been 50 and 60 kilometers an hour, and I would put this at 50 easily. I'm surprised we didn't take more damage. And this, folks, this is on the day when I've just taken the tarp off and put a new one on and wondered about what to do and how secure to pull it. I left it quite baggy. I considered, with the excess, I considered turning it up, which would have left like a channel for water to sit in, which is why I didn't do it, which is why I pulled it up and under, and where there was excess, under again, so that there's less for the wind to get hold of. Every time I put like a new tarp on or put a new tent up, we get hit by fucking heavy winds within a couple of days, and this was literally that day. If you look at when we put, not this tent, but the one before, if you look a day or two after that, we had the tent leaning over at like 45 fucking degrees, being hit broadside. It was actually from that side, wasn't it? I was there doing TrampCast, talking to you, and I was getting smacked on the back of the head by the wall of the tent that should have been 1.5 meters away from my head. Fucking getting blown in. Yeah, never put stuff up and just think, yeah, it'll be right. I'll get a warning before we have a storm and any bad winds. No, this literally came out of nowhere. Yes, thunder and lightning, a little bit of rain, but the winds were incredible. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Yeah, anyway, onwards. I would rate it as 50 kilometers or more. And in the middle of all this, the thunder and lightning, a little bit of rain, then the strong winds, somebody sets off a fucking volley of fireworks. Like for 5 minutes solid. 1 a second every second, kind of bang, 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 bang. I don't understand some people. Anyway, this is Wednesday night. So Scruff Dog. I go off to watch Scruff Dog. He's still building this engine. It's been going on forever. To be honest, I know nothing about engines. A little bit bored by it, but my recent sleep pattern seems to have been falling asleep early. And for the past 5 or 6 weeks, I've fallen asleep either before or during Scruff Dog's show. This week, I can't have got more than half an hour into it. I think Jack Attack said something like, "Are you asleep yet?" And I said, "Nearly." And within 10 minutes I was. Sorry, Scruff, it's not you, mate, it's me. But, yeah. Okay, into Thursday. Well, almost. So I've fallen asleep at what, 10:30 or so. Somewhere like 1 o'clock-ish, something like that. I've woken up. And I've woke Tina at midnight and then again at 5 a.m. And again, both times she's doing nothing. And I'm getting worried that she's normally quite regular, shall we say. Her pattern's really off. Yeah, all day long I'm walking her every few hours instead of like 7 or 8 hours. I'm convinced that if I don't take her out, she's gonna like shit in the tent or something. So I'm taking her out constantly. That's like the main thing of the day. It's a very hot day again. As I'm not going to keep saying that because just take it for read. We're in Spain. If for some reason it's not a hot day, I'll tell you. But they're all just going to be long, hot, sunny, fucking boring days. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. I'm stuck in the field. I can get maybe 50 meters that way. About a third of the way, sometimes halfway to the cliff tops. Tina's constantly wanting to go looking for grass. She wants to eat some grass, but all the grass is dry and horrible. She doesn't really want it, so she wants to keep walking. She wants to keep walking to go find some grass. What she doesn't understand is she's not walking. And she's heavy. And it's hard work. And it's hot. There's a limit for how far I can carry her. I'm struggling. And she wants to keep going. And I'm letting her down. I'm just not able. If I go too far, we won't be able to get back. I don't know. She doesn't understand. But anyway, I at some point I decide I've got to start clearing off some disk space, some storage space on the phone. So I start looking through the list of films and TV series and things that I've got downloaded and I've got to watch them and delete them. So I've watched the first 7 episodes of War of the Worlds. I've now deleted them. I watched Up Pompeii, which I've been meaning to get around to for fucking 3 or 4 months now. I downloaded all of the Frankie Howard Up films. What are they? Up Pompeii, Up the Front, and Up the Chastity Belt, something like that. I watched Up Pompeii the other day. Really enjoyable. It's just as raunch is not the right word, but it's just as irreverent, and it's that 1970s, so there's lots of boobs. That's always nice. Lots and lots of boobs in Up Pompeii. Yeah, lots and lots of double entendre. I mean, Frankie Howard was, you know, that was his thing. And the 70s, that was the big thing anyway, wasn't it, with the Carry On films and everything. So anyway, I watched Up Pompeii. I've been watching some of these TV programs, deleting them to clear up some space. And finally, I take her ladyship for a walk, and finally, she at least has a bloody piss. She has a wee-wee. But no, not the other. Not the other. Yeah. Oh, just going back to the clearing disk space thing. I hate that. I liked it. Once I've downloaded things, I prefer to back them up onto my hard drive and keep them. But as you know, my hard drive is, I don't know, he's looking at his phone. My hard drive is unavailable to me currently. So I'm having to delete things, which is basically like streaming, isn't it? Download it, watch it, delete it. You might as well just stream it, which I find a big waste. I hate streaming in that way. He says while streaming, but you know what I mean, folks. You know what I mean. Anyway, download it, watch it, delete it. It's gone. Yeah. 6:30 at night. Very, very loud music suddenly kicks up from over there. Fairly sure it was the German kiosk, the German bar on the road. It's just a hut, but very, very loud with a deep bass. Yeah, that was worrying, because that bar in summer will stay open while 4 or 5 in the morning. And if they kept going with music like that, I wasn't going to get any sleep that night. So, like I said, 6:30 it started. Thinking it's going to be a long night, but fortunately 10 o'clock it stopped. Well, it stopped being loud. It went down to a low volume. When I first moved into this field, folks, I kind of welcomed the sound of the music from that bar, but it was never quite loud enough. You know, when you can hear that there's some music, but you can't hear the music, or you can't hear the words. When I was just laying here on a bedroll, just on the bed, out in the open, sleeping out in the actual open, forcing the dog into my bed with me, into my single bed, smaller than a single bed, just one of those mattresses from off the sunbeds around the swimming pool. Me cuddling my doggy, a couple of picnic blankets around us, and later on we did get a tarp, a small tarp. But out in the open, looking up at the sky, looking up at the stars and the airplanes and the satellites moving past. I would have welcomed the music. When I had that 5 months where I had no devices of my own, I had no music, no lights, no time. I didn't know the time. We actually used to go and stand in the top corner of the field there to be closer to the music, or even sit on the curb by the bus stop after the buses had finished for the day, just to listen in on the music. Anyway, that's by the by. Just, I think I need to finish this. Back then, being able to listen to the music would have been nice. Just needed it that little bit louder. The other night, it's too fucking loud. I was listening to their music over the top of my phone or tablet. They were excessive. But like I said, it got to 10 o'clock and they turned it down. to the point where I couldn't hear it. I couldn't tell it was still there. Oh, look at that. I put my follow-up can on the floor in the shade, but as the sun's moved around, the can's warm. Oh well, it is as it is. Give us a second, folks. Oh yeah. It's got that extra fizziness that warm beer gets. Bloody hell, yeah. Yeah. Warm liquids can't hold gas as well as cold liquids, so they effervesce more, forces the carbon dioxide, isn't it, in this? Nitrogen with some drinks, isn't it? Is it Guinness that's nitrogen? But anyway, yeah, it forces the gases out. Let me see if I can I do that without without it being unstable? How's that? Maybe, baby. Maybe not. We'll fucking see, won't we? What could possibly go wrong, folks? Anyway, where was I? We were Thursday night and it was the German kiosk, and then it went quiet, so that was good. This was the night where I accidentally, whoa, okay, maybe not then. Unless I keep hold of it. Can I keep hold of it? Not really. Gonna have to work out a big brick or something to hold this in place in future. Okay. Common occurrence, if you remember last week, a common occurrence was for me to put the cool box on late at night for half an hour or an hour, and then to suddenly remember like 3 hours later that, fuck, I've left it on. Well, that's what I did this night. I left the cool box running and suddenly remembered at 11:15. I've run the EcoFlow down to 70%, but whereas in winter, being down to 70% might be a worry because you might get a couple of days with no sun or without substantial sun. It's Spain. It's summer. I'm learning to relax a little bit about the levels on the power, on the, what do you want to call it, power station? On the EcoFlow. I no longer, I'm happy to run it down to 50% or 40% overnight, because it's going to be topped up by, even if I ran it to empty, it would be topped up by 11 o'clock the next morning. It just needs a couple of hours in the sun for the solar panel, and we're there. So I'm learning to relax on that. In my head, I was still running on like winter precautions, winter levels, but I'm learning to relax and live with it, folks. Down to 70%. I wrote here in my notes, no worries. It's just not a thing. The sun's up and on the solar panel at 8. Given a low output, 20, 25, 30 watts to begin with. But within half an hour or an hour, it's going to be 60, 70, 80 watts. It's just 2 or 3 hours from there to be fully topped up from empty. Half it if you're running from 50%. Not a problem. And this is why I've been turning the fan on at night inside the tent. I did that for the first time with you guys during one of the hangouts, wasn't it? When Tina wouldn't settle, and so you persuaded me to put the fan on. I'd not even been doing that. I was hesitant to do that because we were in the middle of a live stream and I thought the audio would suffer. But even when we're not doing live streams, I'd not been using the fan. Well, now I put it on for 5 minutes each hour when I'm awake. Just because I can. It moves the air around. You get that immediate benefit just from having the air stirred around. And yeah, no, it's all good. So anyway, I'd run it down to 70% or so, leaving the cool box on. And then overnight, charging phones, tablets, blah, blah. We were down to 50% overnight. So into Friday morning, we're on 50%. Walked Tina 3 a.m, 6 a.m, still nothing. on the poo front, and I know this is not a great conversation, but anyone who's had pets, if they're regular and then suddenly they're not, well, that's a fucking worry, isn't it? What's wrong? What's changed? And this is even after she's eaten that curry the other day, and we've had barely anything since. The evil smell's gone, and that's so. Yeah, okay. But just that me being worried and walking her all the time. Now we get into the morning proper, and it's time to start the normal morning routine, putting solar panels out and doing all of that. But at some point I've disconnected my phone overnight, and instead of it being on 100%, as is my normal kind of routine, it's down to 60. So I plug the phone into the EcoFlow, and I don't want to move the EcoFlow out of the bedroom and come and hook it up to the panel. I want to have an extra half an hour just in bed on the phone or whatever. Which has a knock-on problem, because if you look at the solar panel over there, laying flat on top of the cool box, well, the sun comes up over there, and I have to put that panel down onto the, you know, to block the sun, to keep the sun off the cool box. Otherwise the cool box is not going to be such a cool box. It's already not such a cool box, but well, I accidentally let the sun shine on the side of the cool box for half an hour. Now it's early morning sun, it doesn't pack the same punch it would later in the day, but I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done it. So we get to 8:30, and yeah, I said the cool box has had the sun on it. I come out, I do the solar panel, I do all of that. Usual morning stuff, proper dog walk, and cups of coffee. I take my 2 cups of coffee in with me. Now this is the day that Karen's going home. We have a quick chat online, and she asked me if I want some eggs boiling and maybe some jacket potatoes doing. Hello, Tom. So Karen, she's going home later that day, and I swear, guys, she must have spent half the day running around just looking after me. She cooked me some jacket potatoes for that day with fillings, and some additional jacket potatoes like for the next day, no, without fillings, but for me to sort out whatever. She boiled a load of eggs, and then she packed 2 bags of food to bring to me. Supposedly it's the stuff that she's got left in the cupboard afterwards, but I think she does an extra shop just for me. But it's okay, Tina, you're okay. But anyway, she brings me all these good. We talk, and we talk about what she's going to bring me and what have you. But I swear, she gathered water and what have you, and from what I understand, her car's parked quite a distance from the house, and she's taking out all these bottles of water. So yeah, that's so. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, she spoils me, folks. She spoils me. So that was just talking in the morning. I have the usual long day, you know, and then in the evening, on the way to the airport, she stops by and drops all this stuff off. You can imagine my day's the same as normal, lying down in the tent, watching videos, just passing time, just trying not to get too hot, trying to stay out of trouble, trying to keep Tina out of trouble, yeah. And then, like I said, Karen stops by, drops off all these goodies. The cooked food that she promised, the water, 2 shopping bags full of food, 3 or 4 bottles of ice to keep the food chilled. I mentioned earlier, there's a bottle of wine, there's a bottle of sangria, there was a Tinto Verano, there's vodka, She keeps me well stocked. Thank you, Karen. And off she trots off to the airport, folks. Yeah. And so again, I get that feeling that I get when friends are leaving the country. It's nice to have a base of people here that I'm in a field, I'm in a tent in a field, kids come and throw stones. The police historically have hassled me. I've heard nothing from them except for last week with this paperwork and them demanding to know where I was, despite me being exactly at the address at the location on the paper that they had. If they'd just come to the location that was on the paper, they would have found me. But they made a phone call asking me what country I was in and where in the country. Was I in Torrevieja and where in Torrevieja? And then they had me the paperwork and the location's already there. Anyway, when you've got these potential hassles and hiccups and things that can go wrong, knowing that you've got people in country that you can, even if it's just to chat to say, fucking what a pile of shit this is, but knowing that if necessary they can jump in a car and come and help you or get you something. Or I know that sounds like I'm putting on people, and I don't like to be reliant like that, but it's a safety net. And then when everybody leaves the country in summer, you're like the trapeze artist doing the somersaults without the safety net. And there's that immediate trepidation, that immediate apprehension. So yeah, that was one of the themes of the week, if you remember. Everybody leaving. But I have a little chat with her after she gets to the airport, and then I nod off, I fall asleep, and where am I? Oh, in between. Okay, let me not get too far ahead of myself. Okay, dropped off the goodies late. Okay. I had to come out and bring in my solar powered lights. I had to bring those in at dusk, you know, at sunset or thereabouts, just before. And I'd not realised where we were in the year. I mean, I knew it was June, but I wasn't really thinking. And I looked, and I couldn't believe where the sun was in the sky, like how far around it was. It was almost north of northeast. I mean, not just. I mean, obviously, east would be your typical location for the sunset. We're in summer, so it goes further round. So it goes north of east. I'm saying east, west. Fuck, I'm an idiot. It goes north of west, just in the normal coast. But this thing was so far around. It wasn't just northwest. It was north of northwest. It was almost fucking directly north. I mean, I couldn't believe how far around it was. And that's when I suddenly realised that Friday was like the hold on, was Friday the day itself or the day before? I'm a bit lost on my days. The day before, wasn't it? Yeah, the next day, Saturday, was going to be the longest day, the solstice. Tina girl, don't do that. Have you knocked it over already, or have you drunk it all? I'll get you some more if you want. Soon. We're nearly finished. I'll get you some more water soon. Okay, folks, where am I? Yeah, no, that was when I realised just how far. It was way this side of the garage, the petrol station, way over there. There was kind of, it struck me, I kind of hadn't, I guess because I haven't been doing sunrises and sunset videos, I haven't been monitoring like the seasons, you know what I mean? I haven't watched how far around it's coming. Obviously, from now on, it's going to be going back the other way. But yeah, that just really struck me that night. Yeah. I got my east and west wrong there, didn't I, for a minute? Sorry about that. I realised I caught myself in the end. Again, like I said, little chat online with Karen while she was at the airport, and sat on the plane. And then after she took off, I fell asleep. And I kid you not, folks, can't have been much after 10 o'clock I'm falling asleep. It's the craziest shit. And I wake up somewhere around 12:30. And then I'm awake from 12, I'm awake then until 4 a.m. And like I said, I put the fan on for 5 minutes each hour just to stir the air around. I've got the one of the doors is, it's not open, but it's just a mosquito net. So it does allow some ventilation. It allows about a third, as far as I can work out. You don't get the full airflow you would get if it was wide open, but also you don't get all the flies. But it does cut the draft by about 2/3. But with the fan going, moving the air around, it just draw in some cooler, fresher air at night into the tent, which is nice. And this is where I have a chat with my mate Frank over in America. This is the guy whose wife died a week or so ago, and he told me that the Saturday was going to be the like the Remembrance Day. The what was the wording he used? Celebration of life. Celebration of life. But he was a bit apprehensive because family can be awkward, can't it, at these things? But I did my best to kind of just chat with him, just be there, reassure him, and yeah. And as I said, I started to get tired somewhere around 4 o'clock and told him I'd have to go, but wished him all the best. And that was my that's kind of Friday and well into Saturday morning there, isn't it? Now Saturday, Tina goes. Saturday I get up and I'm just putting the solar panels out and doing stuff here, and I see a car start to come down the lane, and it's moving along, and I'm head down and doing what I'm doing with the I think I was getting something out of the cool box as well, but setting up the panels and the EcoFlow, and this car never comes past, and I think that's fucking weird. Then Tina goes ape, and she's out of the other side of the tent because she recognises the car engine. Tina, enough! Basta! Sufficiente! Dog. Tina recognises the car, and so she's off that way, like unaccompanied again, bum shuffling off towards the car. And it's our friend Colleen who's got out of the car and she's walking. She's this side of the tent. Tina's off to the road that side, lost track entirely, and I had to go get my shoes on, go hobble after her, get her back, pull her through the tent, and then bring her out here to our friend Colleen, who'd brought some chicken carcasses for her, didn't she, Tina? Auntie Colleen brought you the chicken. Chicken for Tina. Auntie Colleen, she did, and brought me a newspaper, one of the English language newspapers that she brings me most weeks. That was nice. Yeah. Now Tina would normally almost inhale these chicken carcasses. But she took her time this time. She took her time over it, and there was a last bit that she kind of just wouldn't eat, this last piece. Don't know what that was about. But yeah, anyway, thank you, Colleen. Thank you. I think I mentioned you up in the thank yous at the start. Again, hot day, battle to stay cool, also to keep food cool because Karen's dropped off 2 extra bags of food and drink, and some of it needs to be chilled. There's rice puddings, and there's the yogurt drinks, which I used for the pina colada, which I haven't told you about yet properly. I mentioned it, I think. But that's a Saturday night, isn't it? That's the day we're on. We're talking about Saturday here. But it's my battle to keep these things cool. At some points in the day, it's cooler to put the food outside the tent than it's to have it in. Like now. I've got some stuff down the side of the tent here, not in the tent, because it's too warm inside. Like I said, it must be above 40 degrees in there at times. I've lost my thermometer. Not lost, misplaced. It's somewhere near the bed still. I've lost a number of things recently. It's quite alarming how stuff gets lost in there. Can you hear the music? That's about a fifth of the volume it was the other day. I'm not entirely sure whether it is the kiosk or there is a building over there. This could be someone on their balcony, but I don't know. I haven't walked over to see. Anyway, hot day. Keep myself cool, keep the dog cool, keep the food cool. Yeah, we're packed out because we've had so many deliveries. We had the lady earlier in the week that left a bag of food. We'd had some the week before that I've still got some things. Then all Karen's things. I've tried to put the fresh fruit and veg, the stuff that needs to be chilled, in the cool box. I kept some of the bottles of ice in a padded aluminium, a padded metal bag, insulated bag, to try as a kind of a standalone, as an overflow fridge, you might say. Again, for someone who's not the most practical, I'm trying to adapt and do. I've also got a wet towel in there with some things wrapped up in as an evaporative cooling kind of chiller for drinks mainly. But if you'd have asked me about any of this 3 years ago, I wouldn't have fucking known my ass from my elbow. I don't know how I've done half of what I've done, folks. I should do after this is all over, when I've got like access to like a proper computer and proper editing suite, I should try and do some proper like just videos about my learning experiences. I said a couple of weeks ago I was chatting with a guy who runs a prepper channel, Mike from UK Urban Prepper, and he was saying, come on the podcast and chat about your experiences. And I was like, I'm not really, I don't think I match like the target market properly, the target audience. My story isn't, I didn't come at this like prepared. I was fucking unprepared. I'm not managing this in a self-sufficient, self-reliant manner. I'm basically an e-beggar. But the more I look at it, there are aspects, there are things that I've learned, things that I've done, lessons I've learned that I would do differently if I was kind of preparing for this. If I was in an apartment or a home now and wanted to be prepared, whether for like a natural disaster or a national disaster, just a personal disaster. Your bank says you're not you, and your landlord kicks you out because you're behind with the rent and you've got nowhere to go. Your friends turn on you because they think that you're a liar. They don't believe this could happen. There's all sorts of like personal disasters that can happen, that can leave you in these kinds of positions. And so being a prepper, being prepared beforehand rather than trying to kind of retrofit it, which is kind of what I've tried to do after the event. I guess I do have a bit of a tale to tell there, maybe. So maybe I'll look at that, maybe. If you're out there, Mike, maybe, mate, maybe. Okay, where does this carry on? Oh, this is one of those days where I fall asleep in the afternoon and I wake up and there's fucking no dog. Yeah, no, annoying. I don't fully remember. So this is yesterday. Where were you yesterday, Tina? Oh, she was here. So I looked out of the tent to the little bush next to the door she would have gone out. That she's, if I see her there, I'll just tie her to that bush. Or if I find her here, I'll tie her to this one, so she can't go away. And then I can go back inside. She can stay out here where it's a bit cooler. She can stay out here for a few hours. She gets fresh air. I get to relax knowing she can't go anywhere. All good. But when I looked out and she wasn't there, I came around her, and at first I couldn't see her. But there she was. She just wasn't answering me when I was shouting her. Yeah, but the heart goes. When you look out, Thomas, hello my friend. Copenhagen. You're on holiday, Thomas. You're Norsk, yeah? And you're in Dansk. Okay. Where am I, folks? Where am I? I was on Saturday, wasn't I? And the dog, yeah, the heart attack when you see the dog's not there. Travelling. Oh, are you on your way to Spain? You working your way around? Maybe. You did say something about that a while back. I'm not sure I've got my timelines right. Maybe you don't want to be talking about these things in public. I'm sorry, my friend. It's me being a bit presumptuous. Anyway, okay, yeah. I spend the rest of the day listening to my artificial intelligence sci-fi stories. They're okay at times, but they're really bad sometimes. And they tend to reuse names and things. And races out of Star Trek. What the fuck was that? Was that bird? Did you hear that clap right above my head? I think it was a bird. It's not stones, is it? It's not kids. Don't think so. I think a bird took off from, there's some wires, some power lines here. I think when he first took off, I think his wings clapped together. I think. That's what I'm going to go with, unless I find out otherwise. Where was I, folks? Where was I? These AI sci-fi stories, yeah. They tend to reuse characters and races and names of fake planets from off like Star Trek and Babylon 5 and whatever. You'll hear a name like Neelix will come up, but it might be the name of a race, not a character. But you get all sorts of stuff like that. Anyway, I still find them quite relaxing and quite they're crap and they're good at the same time. They're kind of Schrodinger's sci-fi stories. But yeah, Saturday, late sundown, longest day. I brought all my lights in and we got ready. I took Tina for a quick walk and we got settled ready because Saturday night, bigclive.com over on Twitch, where dot is the word D-O-T, com is obviously C-O-M, all one word, bigclive.com, over on Twitch, and afterwards, Scruff Dog. And for once, folks, for the first time in about 6 weeks, I caught both of them, and I watched them both start to finish. Wow! I actually managed to stay awake like fucking 2:30, like a big boy. It's been forever. Recent weeks have been ridiculous for it. Oh, this is where we got a late night donation. I think I was in the middle of watching Big Clive, and this is where Tony D sent a donation. So yeah, thank you, Tony. Much appreciated. Okay, folks, into Sunday morning. Tina for a walk, 7 o'clock in the morning, coffee, blah, blah. This coffee that I still haven't finished, and that is literally still warm. By now, a couple of hours out here, it'll just be tepid. 3 hours out here. Fuck, is it that long? Basically, it's so warm. I mean, it's an insulated cup, so it's meant to keep your drinks warm. It will keep it like hot for 2.5 hours. Tepid for another hour or two after that, normally. But it's so hot inside the tent that when I picked this up, the outside of the cup was hot, not from the coffee, just from the air temperature inside the tent. And so when it's that warm, it doesn't get to lose its heat. It doesn't get to radiate the heat outwards. So it's still warm even now, hours and hours later. I do need a bigger drink than that though. So cheers to you guys for sticking here. Anyone who's been here since the start, almost 3 hours. 2 hours 45 any second now. Stick with me, folks. We're about to start Sunday, aren't we? We'll have this finished soon and then we can go through the chat, get that sorted, and then we can reconvene tonight at 10 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. US Eastern, if you want to do a hangout with me, a TrampCast hangout. Try and bring some topics, some questions, some articles that you've read, or I don't know, bring some conversation points, help me out. I struggle to keep the conversation going sometimes, you might have noticed. Okay folks, yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning I said Tina Walkies, made coffee, put it down to cool, forgot about it. Suddenly I had a fucking heart attack. I remembered starting the gas ring, and then suddenly like 2 hours later I'm thinking, fuck, the coffee's not in front of me. I'd left it up on a cabinet, just put it down for a while. And I'm like, fuck, I've left the gas. Oh no, I remember. I do that a lot. This is why when I turn the gas off, I'll pick the water up, I'll make the coffees, and when I put the pan back down, I'll check the gas again. I figure I might as well build these safeguards into my life now before anything deteriorates. If it's already routine, if anything does deteriorate, I'll have some level of safeguard built in, maybe. But yeah, I had that real, and then, that calm when you suddenly realise, oh no, it's okay, I remember now. 8:30 in the morning and I've got the fan on already. And it's still hot. EcoFlow's down to 60, but like I said, it's summer. I'm not bothered. It's gonna be sunny. The solar panel's gonna have me fixed before 11 in the morning. We're gonna be golden. Unless I run the fan and the cool box at the same time. Unless I'm burning more power than I've got coming in. But Tina's okay. But it's just a case of balancing. Turn one off, or one or the other off. Sometimes turn them both off. Let the EcoFlow get topped up. Okay. Yeah, it's just a case of balancing power. But I'm easing into the fact that I've got power galore. Tina, be quiet. Tina, be quiet. Shush. So yeah, I'm easing into that. It's but I've got a note here. Look, confident it'll recharge quickly, but I am roasting. But by 9:30, even with a fan on, it's too hot in there. Now here's one. Same thing again. At 9:30, I started work on these notes. I'm getting earlier each week, with like apprehension, like fearing that I'm not going to get them done in time. I like to, so like there's the opening block where I list the name of the channel and tell you the date that we're broadcasting and all of that. Homeless, vagrant, indigent, hobo, no fixed abode, all of that. There's that block there that I have to write up each week. And then there's certain fixed blocks. I like to get certain chunks done, then have a rest and listen to a video for a quarter of an hour, half an hour, do another block, and I've just been starting earlier and earlier each time. Is that a problem? Is that noise too much? I could maybe cup the. Come se dice? What do you say? Come se dice? Where am I? So yeah, I started earlier and earlier, right? So now I was doing them 12 o'clock onwards, and then sometimes it became a bit of a push or a squeeze to get it done. So I started doing them at 11, then at 10, and today 9:30, just so that but in fairness, I was all done by 12:30. All done and dusted. Then it was just a case, I had the numbers round to do, the numbers section to research. I had to do the thumbnail, and I have to create the stream on YouTube. When that goes well, that's like half an hour's work. If it gets awkward, it might be an hour's. But I've got from 12:30 till 5. So I quite enjoyed that. I might do that again next week. But that, folks, that was the week that was. You have made it to the end. We are here. You have caught up with my life, such as it is. There was one earlier, wasn't there? Oh, guys. Yeah, there was, okay, yeah, it was Bella, Belinda, Vinny, and Anthony. Hello, Anthony. I don't know if you're watching. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Always appreciated. Oh, it's that time when they start biting below the knees. I don't know what it is, but I had one or two earlier, but now there's a cavalcade of the damn things. Okay, chat. Okay, I'm gonna go to top chat and live chat because I just have a suspicion it might have frozen. No, Thomas was the last. Let me go. I got to go back to where I last remember. Where are we? I think I'm at a point where I saw we were talking about War of the Worlds, and Chippy said BBC did a thing with Ghost Watch in the 90s. That's where what was that last with the ghostly white face off of Blue Peter? Can't remember her name, but yeah, they did it like a ghost hunting documentary, didn't they? And then something appeared, and then the program cut off or ended. And people kind of believed it. I almost had a name there. It's not going to come, is it? She was everywhere for a while. Kids TV, and then she transitioned to kind of grown-up television. She was everywhere. But Yvonne something or other, was it? She was very, very white. She was like pasty white. Tim Timney said it's amazing people actually thought the Martians were coming. Yeah, they came out of a concert or a baseball match or something, all got home around the same time, tuned in halfway through a production, and yeah. Farmer says there's more subs right there. I got no context. Terrifying at the time. I guess. I mean, sci-fi as a genre wasn't that old at the time. I'm not exactly sure what year we were in. I've got the 1930s or 40s in my mind for some reason. It's possible it was the 50s, but I think it was earlier. Because like the old time radio era. By the 50s, America was all television, wasn't it? Tim Timney says those meals in foil and cardboard are precious. Bad doggy. She's indeed a very bad doggy. I kind of ended up having a laugh, but you know, I'm telling her no, she's a naughty girl and she can't have it, and then like 30 seconds later I'm handing it back to her because what else am I gonna do with it? But oh, there was Farm Art, Girls on Film. Was that when I was talking about all the boobs in up Pompeii? And Karen had the answer, Girls on Film, Duran Duran, which itself was named after a character in another film, wasn't it? What was that one called? With Henry, what's his name's daughter? Henry Fonda, Jane Fonda, and what was they had sex by holding hands, didn't they? Can't remember. Okay, there's Farmer in the back. Yeah, okay. She can back. Okay, I saw these buns. So you repaired tarp. No, I had to repair the tent. I've thrown one tarp away and put a new one on, and then I had to make 2 repairs this week to the tent itself. 2 months in, and the last tent we got to 2 weeks before we had to make before we took damage. The rancid nature of gases coming out of Tina. Yeah, okay. I've maybe gone too far back here, haven't I? There was okay, there was Farmer heading off. If you watch it on the replay, catch you later, mate. If not, you'll never know I said this, so yeah. I think I said it was half hour ago, Chief. There's Josie. Hello, Josie. You got a thank you at the beginning of the program, even though you said not to. Thunderquake by Jack Attack, exactly. It's a beautiful word. He researched it and found it for me. Thunderquake. That was the week of storms that finished your last tent. It kind of usually ends up that way. My first shelter was ended by a week of storms. The next one was. This last one, not so much. That was just timed right, I think. Although it looked terrible when we took it down and took all the tarps off and you looked at what was actually left of the tent itself. It didn't look good. Bless her, she likes her grass as well, says Tim Timony. Yeah, she does, she does. Usually I think it's a sign that something's missing from their diet or that they've got an upset stomach. The problem is she wants to walk and walk and walk to go get it, and she doesn't realise she's not the one doing the walking. I'm carrying her, and I just can't get that far. There's Tom arriving. Oh yeah, I think I've gone too far back, haven't I? I must have found a little patch that I'd not read, and I've gone too far back to it. There was Anthony saying see you during the week. Okay, it is this week then, Anthony. I knew it was soon. I wasn't sure how soon. The TV magazines didn't mention it was fictional. Yvette Cooper. Did I get there with Yvette, or did I might have said Yvonne? Yvette, yeah. She was very, very pasty white though, wasn't she? I don't know whatever happened to her. Is she still around? I don't remember seeing her when I was in the UK, but I guess I'd already stopped watching TV to a large extent. And the types of trashy things she would have been on anyway, I probably wouldn't have watched. Yeah, Yvette Cooper. Well done. I might have said Yvonne when I was trying to get it. I'm not sure. Can you hear all this? Can you hear the music? When Joby was here in the field, we would have this all night until 7 or 8 in the morning, every Friday night into Saturday and Saturday night into Sunday, and sometimes Sunday into Monday. After a while you learn to shut it out, but it takes a while, and when it hasn't happened for a while and then it suddenly happens, you notice it more. Cheers folks. I don't know if Jack Attack was ever here. I don't remember seeing him. He might have been lurking in the background. I'm just going to hit top chat and then live chat in case it's oh, look at that. There he is. Speak of the devil. Okay, I think we're about to bring it to a close, folks. We're coming up on 3 hours, so I'll try and time it. I'm not even Okay, the last time I said this, I jinxed it. I'm not aware of us having had any outages. So the timer I see might be the real timer at the end of the... We've had a few in the past where a couple of outages, and I try and end on, say, 3 hours or 4 hours. And then when you look at the video afterwards, it's like 2 hours 57. It's like, fuck. But we'll try and end in the tradition of the channel, folks. Thank you all for being here. From Tina. And from me, Delta Mike, out.